You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
From the gate now.
What's good? What's good? What's good? You are to an Apartment 5B hosted by your man Kel. I got my squad with me in effect as always out there on them LA West Coast hours. Eddie, what's going on, bro?
What is good? I'm good, man.
That's it? No. Knicks second round, 2-0, just nothing.
You already know, man. You already know.
I got three Knicks fans right here. I mean, okay. Hey, listen, you know what? Listen. I'm not gonna promote nothing. So
listen, man.
Okay.
Like because I'm in LA, man. Both LA teams have been eliminated, so it's like everyone in my office they already know. Like I've been rocking like the Jalen Brunson Slam magazine in my cubicle for a while now. Like, so it's been known. And so now is that everyone coming up to me talking about, yo, the Knicks, like they coming around on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, it's like Biz said, damn, it feels good to see people up on it, man. While we on the Knicks fans, let's keep going to JR, R&B Guru. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Yes, I'm very happy with my team doing right now. We injured like a mug, but I'm happy. I'm good. I'm good with it.
And we might as well keep the party going with 3 different New York hats, 3 different fitteds. I mean, of the different persuasions of fitted you can have for a New York fan. Cal, who's actually in the city right now. What's going on, bro?
Happy to be here. I'm down the street from Baisley Park. They wilding out over here. Daddy wagons around the corner and crazy. So I think the Knicks are well, I ain't gonna say that. It's always crazy over there, but everybody's energized about the Knicks. Happy to be here though. And I still got my shirt on too, so I'm still repping the shirt.
Again, this dude is the GOAT. I don't know anybody who has a better t-shirt game than this dude when it comes to classic hip hop shit, the Fever. I don't even know how you do it. I don't even want to ask you where you get them from, man. Just, I get annoyed when people ask me about samples and shit, so I'm not even going to ask. Last but definitely not least, my brother Vague out of BK. What's going on, bro?
Hold on. We smoking on that Drizzy pack over here. That's all I know. That's what we
that
do.
part too. Yeah, man.
I agree.
Hey, talk
man,
about
out here in the West though, like since I'm out here, like it is, you get that shit blasted everywhere. Everywhere, not like this.
Vague, tell them about Bed-Stuy Vintage, Volume 1.
Yeah, man. So right now, me and Kill got a EP out called Bed-Stuy Vintage Volume 1, featuring 3 tracks, all produced by Kill. The idea is, me being 30 years in the game as far as rapping. I started rhyming in '94, so this kind of like a commemorative span of the styles and the concepts and things I've done throughout that time on the side. And we got a Volume 2 coming up. Got a couple of songs already done. Looking to get a feature in there on one of them. And then sometime, later this year, we'll just drop a full-on album featuring those songs along with other songs. So check it out. It's Hoodie Vegas, man. Don't make me show up. You know what I'm saying? Dark skin, we up. Dark skin niggas is up. So,
All right, y'all. Everybody wants happening at Vegas World, inc.bandcamp.com on all your streaming services too. Y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. Back in the day, and I don't mind aging myself. Everybody knows I'm 50, proud of it. was this white boy named Rodney Dangerfield, comedian boy. You know what I mean? He used to always do the circus, the late night show with Johnny Carson, all those people. He always had this bit called No Respect, where he would talk about how nobody respected him or whatever like that. So a mixture of that, along with somebody, I posted King of Rock was my album this week that I was riding out to. And, you know, everybody's on the timeline talking about Run DMC stuff, and it kind of hit me like, yo, I don't feel like Run DMC get the respect they deserve. You know, I mean, you hear people say it, but for what Run DMC did, I mean, to be honest with you, and, you know, definitely chime in if y'all disagree, I feel like I hear more love going to the Wu. I feel like Nas gets more love. I feel like Tribe gets more love. And I'm not saying that these artists aren't deserving of the love they get, but I'm just like, God damn, like Run DMC, or like, and I get it that the majority of social media is definitely younger than the 45 and over crowd. And I feel like only the 45 and over crowd really truly understand what Run DMC did. So this week's show is going to be about artists who get respect. It's not like they're necessarily slept on per se, but they don't get the respect that they truly deserve. I'll set us off and just stay with Run DMC. I mean, you know, just a little bit of the accomplishments. You talking about first hip hop group on MTV. You know what I mean? Like, I was explaining to people last week, like, yo, you know, I was watching a Bon Jovi documentary, and they was like, yo, I'm shocked you like Bon Jovi. And I had to kind of break down to it, like, back in the day, yo, we had to sit through white groups all day to just see Run DMC or see Michael Jackson or see Prince. And then after a while, you start liking the music. Like, I love Duran Duran. They're one of my top 10 favorite groups ever. You know, I love Bon Jovi, but, you know, we had to do that to just finally get to that Run DMC or that, you know, Prince or Michael Jackson or whatever. So, I mean, they were the first group to really break through on that. They're the first group to have their own sneaker line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they had their own Adidas, you know what I mean, which was crazy to me. And I mean, just more importantly than anything, and I can't really call on this, so if y'all disagree or if y'all know another one, I want to say Walk This Way was like really hip-hop's first big crossover hit. I'm not saying it was the first crossover hit, but as far as just like the masses, like that was a huge hit. And I feel like without Run DMC, they kicked out a lot of doors, you know what I mean? And the thing is I don't know why in hip-hop how we forget that, because I feel like Run DMC and no, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying they're as important as these people I'm about to name, but Rosa Parks, like, we don't mess that name up. Like, it don't matter what somebody did after Rosa Parks. It's still like, oh no, Rosa Parks the OG. Or no matter what somebody did after Martin or what somebody did after Malcolm, like those names now 50 years later, 60 years later, still hold that same place. And I don't know how we lose that in hip hop, you know, because if you're that first person like Run DMC, I just feel like it should be like Run DMC and the rest of them. Like, so we give Wu their props, we give everybody their props, but I feel like Run DMC gets lost in there somehow, some way. Kel, you are the mayor of Queens. I expect everybody on this list to be from Queens. If you've ever watched Apartment 5B, you ask this nigga, like, who your favorite group from Brooklyn, that nigga's gonna be like, well, technically it's Run DMC, or technically it's LL, you know? So what do you think it is? Well, why doesn't Run DMC get the props they deserve, bro?
I think, like you said to us, it's social media. It's the era that they came out in as well. I think if they were out in this day and time, they would get more respect. But I think definitely too. I think we touched on I think one of the podcasts when you were saying I think you said you didn't like anything after the Down with the King album. So I think the drop off was so fast too. You know, right. After their big runs from the 3 albums, and I think that's part of it. So I think the 90s or so, you know, Biggie, Nas, Jay. I think that is it's that era, late 80s, 88. You know, Run DMC kind of pulled off even 88 around. I think that part going to the mid 90s, I think people forget about them and their run and their history. So I think that's part of it. I think definitely if their career was in 88 through 98 or something like that, then I think people look at them differently.
Babe, what do you think? What about Run DMC? Why you think they don't get? Or does anybody disagree? Do y'all feel like Run and D get the props that they do deserve?
I don't think they do. I don't think they get enough, because a lot of times when I see, like, you know, greatest groups of all time, you know, I'm shocked when I don't see Run DMC on the list. It's like, but how? They're the blueprint in a lot of ways for these duos. Some of it, I think, is just unfortunately time, because, you know, when we were coming up, you know, you knew Dr. J, like, you knew everything about him. You saw highlights, all kinds of stuff. And now, because it's all this GOAT talk, it's like the only people being talked about is Michael Jordan and you know, and LeBron, which is like a current player. And you
Vegas, to your point, with the Dr. J analogy, but what is it that they say? They're like, oh, he played against plumbers and handymen, right? It's kind of like the same with Run DMC. They're like, well, what was the competition?
Right, and when you think about it, it's just a bunch of misinformation, because even when you think about Dr. J, right, like the ABA is what made the NBA lit. Like, once they combine, that's where the real ball, the NBA we know now, is in the ABA. You know what I'm saying? And it made the NBA better. So what Run DMC is, I think it's just time, and like you said, the 90s was so influential that those artists get remembered way more than everybody in the 80s, even though, you know, Run DMC was a large group, you know, at the time. So yeah.
The NBA analogy jumping in. They always talk about, I've watched, you know, Paul Interruption, they was talking about anything before 1980, before ESPN launched, ESPN don't care about it. So almost you point about Dr. J, you know, they don't care about Kareem or Wills or anything like that because of ESPN. So I think it's the same thing about it. Or the 90s people don't even like that.
Right.
Eddie, great point about what the competition is, because I've seen that on Twitter a lot. Like, somebody was trying to discredit Rel, cover your ears. They were discrediting Rel and Vegas. They were discrediting LL. Like, well, who was he? You know, he battled Kool Moe Dee. And I'm like, y'all gotta make up your mind. One day, the Kool Moe Dee motherfuckers, the Wild Wild Westerners, are burning down my timeline. And the next day, he ain't shit. So which one is it? But great point on that, Eddie, because I've seen that a lot. Like, well, I mean, Run DMC was rhyming against who? The Beastie Boys? Like, you know what I mean? And to me, this is where hip hop and sports are different. It's not about who you're playing against. You know, it's just about if you dope or not. But Eddie, do you think running them get the props they deserve?
Nah, and I think it's like Vegas said, you know, going back to the sports analogy, right? Let's talk about the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, as good as he's been, now he's getting conversations. The thing
Bro, it's cool. It's no disrespect. Yeah. It was no disrespect, bro. There was no disrespect before we got on. We talked about it. We took our L. We took our L. It's all good. Don't get upset, bro. Yeah. That ain't their fault. That's our fault. That's Toby. Get mad at Toby. I'm real big on misplaced anger. Don't be mad at the Knicks. Be mad at Tobias Harris with no fucking points in an elimination game. So we just gotta manage where our anger gets directed at. I'm with you though, L. I'm with you, bro. Just calm down. Just give that shit. I tried to tag Toby. That nigga had it on Instagram. He couldn't even be tagged because that motherfucker knew. He knew he was coming for his ass, and I ain't never seen that shit before. I tried to tag him. That shit was like, you can't tag this nigga. I said, oh shit.
I don't want to hear his name.
This nigga done untagged himself from the universe because that nigga knew. But he's gone. So it's misplaced anger. Don't get mad, bro. Go back to what you were saying about the Knicks.
All right. So basically, right, they're saying, yo, is JB the greatest Knick? And I'm just like, y'all just forgetting Patrick Ewing, you know, Clyde Frazier, who's calling the games. Like, just look him up. But it's like these people who haven't watched them, they're not old enough to haven't watched them, right? I never watched Clyde Frazier, but I watched Patrick Ewing. But, you know, I think with Run DMC, like, if these kids ain't old enough to have heard them, to have experienced that impact when it was happening, they won't understand. They just won't understand.
Yeah, I feel JR, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I agree. And I think when I see a lot of like hip hop shows and things like that besides this, everybody kind of go back to 88. And from there, it's all about Rakim, all that. And Run DMC by that time, it was curtains. You know what I'm saying? So it's like after that, it was like they were the has-beens. You know what I mean? So then now it's like nobody's talking about them. And like y'all said, people didn't experience that. So it's like they forget about them, even though, like Vegas said, they are the blueprint of everybody else. You know what I mean? But if you wasn't able to experience and everybody just goes back to 88, that's it. You know what I mean? So they kind of get lost in that. So
right.
I will
What
say,
about you? Kel?
real quick, I will say obviously the hip artists. You know, I went to both rock concerts with them, performing in Yankee Stadium, and I think I got a picture. Just the artists that are on the stage watching them perform is so dope. Like off to the side, it's incredible. So they pay out.
Bro, what about you? You feel like Run get the props they deserve?
Not at all. And I want to say, like, the whole thing about who they up against and all that, that's like a bad argument, because back then, like, what was the blueprint? Like, they was the blueprint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Back then you had to be original. You know what I mean? As you got older, there's a lot of copycat and all that. Like, they were the original, and they had their own style. They fathered a lot of style, not just rap wise, but what people was wearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think as time is going on, they're just kind of getting left behind. It's strange, you know what I'm saying? To me, like, as time goes on, you hear the best groups and all that stuff, and then you kind of not hearing them enough. And I think, like what JR was saying, is true. Like the 88 thing, like everybody goes back to 88. Like there was hip hop, like way before that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they kind of getting forgotten, which is like not fair. You know what I mean?
Right. I think a huge thing too is like with the Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, we would drill that shit was drilled in our head in school. You know, like even if your parents weren't pro-black and they weren't teaching you, you was gonna hear about Rosa Parks. You was gonna have to write a paper on Rosa Parks. You was gonna have to write a paper on. So I think the other problem with this is that the information isn't being passed down from generation to generation. Like one cat jumped on my timeline saying something about, oh, just let the kids live with the music that they got. And I'm like, nah, nigga, like that's the problem. We just letting them live with what they got. Like, you know, and he like, oh, you barking up the wrong tree, 20-year-old educator. And I'm like, bro, that's the great thing. I challenge you. If you doing this, great. But if not, that's great. You want to teach the kids about life. Of course, that's number one. But I challenge you to mix hip hop in this too, because my nigga, you did jump on my timeline talking about hip hop. So that's my thing. You can't, there's nothing wrong with being I know this is the whole stigma. I want to be the old man, get off my lawn. No, I am, nigga. I just spent $400 out there on flowers and get my lawn right. Get the fuck off my lawn. So yes, you have every right to say, get the fuck off my lawn, because it's yours, because you're a homeowner. Okay, go out and buy a new car, and then you see 5 kids out there sitting on your car smoking a J. You ain't gonna say get off your car? Are you the old ass? No, nigga, it's yours. And that's how I feel like we got to do with hip hop. But we have this attitude of, just let them niggas live. No, don't let them niggas live. You just gonna let 5 new niggas out there smoke a joint on your car? Like, nah, niggas, get the fuck off my car. Fuck is wrong with y'all? Same thing. If you see niggas misrepresenting the culture, you need to be man enough, prayerfully you man enough, to tell these motherfuckers to get off your car. Call the cops. You gonna do something to get these niggas off your car. You know what I mean? You need to do the same with this culture and preserve it. And I think that's the difference. If somebody just told you about Rosa Parks once, in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? But because it was drilled in our head, we need a Black History fucking hip hop month. That's what we need. We need a hip hop month where all these kids get schooled on what happened with hip hop between 1984 to 1988. Fuck it, 1980. Let's go back to the first. When did Rappers Delight come out? If it was 79, from 79 to 88, y'all just need to be schooled. And myself included. I'm only 50, nigga. Like, that's somebody who 58, 59 need to be teaching this class. So I'm not even talking about this is just for y'all. It's for me too. But we got to get this, because there is no way that Run DMC should not be getting the love that they deserve. So that's my Run DMC thing. For people out there, where to start with the debut album, going to King of Rock, going to Raising Hell. Because again, if you get anybody who's 45 and over and you play Peter Piper or My Adidas, you gonna see a whole bunch of niggas losing their fucking mind the same way. Like niggas be like, yo, but do they got a shook ones? Nigga, they got a motherfucking Adidas that had motherfucking 20,000 people at Madison Square Garden take off their fucking sneakers and put them in the air. I've literally had people ask me that question, do they have a shook ones? Like, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, do they have a shook ones? Okay. Peter Piper, when Peter Piper first came out, people may not remember, but that was one of the first big songs with curse words in it. Like, you know what I mean? People forget about that. Like, Lottie Dottie was big, but it wasn't. Peter Piper, when that dropped, that shit was everywhere, you know? And again, it was just, so yes, to answer anybody's question out there, yes, Run DMC has a shook ones.
Go on YouTube also. Go on YouTube to find videos of them performing Run's House live. That shit goes crazy.
It's crazy.
Not to mention, here we go live at the Fun House. Kel, who's your first artist that you feel does not get the respect that they deserve? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, real quick. I got an R&B one. I got two for each. All right, my R&B group is TLC. I don't think TLC gets the props that they deserve. I just watched this special on them on Netflix. Very dope special. Some of the things that TLC has done: 4 Grammy Awards, 5 MTV Awards, 5 Soul Train Awards, 1 American Music Award, 9 top 10 hits on Billboard with 4 #1 singles, and they have sold over 65 million records worldwide. They're one of the few groups that Prince allowed. Prince gave them permission to not only do one, get on up, get it up, and If I Was Your Girlfriend. You know what I mean? And for people out there who may not know, Prince was not a big fan of people remaking his shit. So they have done a lot. TLC, on the TLC tip, 92, Crazy Sexy Cool, 94, Fan Mail, 99, 3D, 2002. I don't know about this last TLC album, but I feel like they don't get the love that they deserve out here in these streets. And for anybody watching, you will hear me talk about record sales on the R&B side. So I just want people to say it, because somebody's going to be like, Kill, you'll be wanting to talk about awards and record sales. Yeah, I'm talking about it on the R&B side of things. And again, there are times that I do bring up record sales and award on the hip hop side, but that's the last shit. I don't, that's like the big joker at the end of spades. And I've realized a lot of people on Twitter don't know how to play spades too. Because these motherfuckers, I'll be like, nigga, heart's lead and you throwing out a goddamn club. I'm never playing spades with you dickheads. But, so that's just the reason why I'm talking records like that. All right, my fault, Kel. Who you got up for your peoples?
So, you know, I still wasn't going to go to Queens, but I'm going to start Salt and Pepper. I think Salt and Pepper is underrated. I think they was watching, they were talking about Missy, you know, I think she went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were talking about, you know, female MCs and stuff like that. And they mentioned her, they mentioned Nicki, they mentioned Cardi. I'm like, man, Salt and Pepper is the showstopper, you know what I'm saying? Don't have to like rush, you know, back in the day. They got a classic album, Vicious. I think I'm gonna use record sales with them. They're the first female group to go gold and platinum. So I think that's something that you know, back then was, you know, you didn't see a lot of artists do it at all, especially hip hop. You know, so that was a big deal. Grammy Award winner. Trendsetters, you know, fashion, topic wise, you know, they were just groundbreaking. I think that a lot of people just forget about them. You know, once the 90s, obviously the 2000s now. There weren't a lot of female MCs back then either. So I think just now, you know, just a dime a dozen. So yeah, they got lost in the shuffle. I think people just, you know, need to respect them some more.
Yeah, now that's a great point. I always say that their first album, Hot, Cool, and Vicious, 5 mic classics, probably top 10, probably top 20 fave albums of mine personally. But I mean, I absolutely love that. I mean, I Desire, Chick on the Side, Tramp. I mean, it's just banger after banger on that album. And again, if you was outside in 1987, Salt and Pepper with Push It. Push It was the freakiest song that was out at that time. I know it's kind of like PG right now to y'all niggas, but in 1987, like, I remember girls, mothers telling, yo, you can't wear biker shorts because it Shake That Thing. Like, that shit was like almost getting banned, like almost on some old, like, yo, they out here wearing biker shorts, shaking their ass. And it's just so funny to where we are right now, with ass because you like biker shorts ain't shit. Like, but I remember girls' parents telling them, "Yo, you can't. I don't want to change your clothes. You can't wear that outside." So, Salt-N-Pepa was definitely trendsetters out there, and I agree 100%. Bay, who you got up for your first group or MC?
First up, I got Heavy D.
I got him too.
Yeah, I feel like Heavy D, damn near doesn't get mentioned at all for any reason whatsoever. And I think what people who aren't that familiar with Heavy D need to understand, like, he had hits out the gate with Heavy D and the Boys. Like, debuted, he had hits. He had other hits along the lines. Very dope albums. He was very consistent with those albums. He was one of the artists that when I started to get a little money, if Heavy D had a new album, I didn't even look for a review or nothing. It was like I just went and got it. You know what I'm saying? Also, he has a great track record of introducing the game to different like hip hop legends at this point, like Biggie. You know, his first recording was on Blue Funk. Pete Rock, right? Introducing Pete Rock to the game. And, you know, also as a producer, as a record exec with his own people like Monifa with her joints. And I was going to say,
So For Real, man.
So For Real with their joint. Later hits, right? Like with other artists like Nas and all of that, like acting, right? He was doing some acting and he was really good at it. I just think it's weird because, in a lot of ways, you know, he's like the blueprint for the heavy set soloist in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And the blueprint in regards to being someone who could be a hardcore rapper, but could also do radio songs. Because he was highly successful on that. So yeah, I just think like people sleep on Heavy D's output, but also his influence. I think they don't realize how much he influenced, because influencing someone like a Biggie doesn't stand out to you, because if you go press play on Heavy D, you know, you ain't hearing Warning and all of that. But in a lot of ways, when you hear in One More Chance, that's the Heavy D blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Like, big time. So I think he deserves a lot of respect for what he's brought to the game. And for those who don't know, like, if all you know about Heavy D is more so his songs on the R&B side, like, we respected him as a lyricist. Breath Control was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Fat Boys was one thing, but Heavy D dancing, like, he wasn't just moving side to side. That brother was getting busy. So in a lot of ways, Heavy D was a pioneer in he checked a lot of boxes. It's just that, unfortunately, even with him passing, you know, he just doesn't get mentioned a lot when people are talking about just dope rappers from the 80s. So
yeah. It's crazy because we just got finished talking about Run DMC saying most people start in 88. Hev was 87. You know what I mean? And he's not getting the love. Like Veg said, the blueprint for Biggie, when we talk about Jay took Biggie's style and Nas was trying to take Biggie's formula. Puff got all that shit from Heavy D. Heavy D was the one that was going to hit you with the You Can't See What I Can See, and then hit you with Black Coffee, or hit you with Who's the Man, and then hit you with that. So Hev was doing that. He's got an amazing 5-album run. Living Large, Big Time, Peaceful Journey, Blue Funk, Nothing But Love. That's 87 to 94. And Hev was still relevant in 94 when Nothing But Love came out. You know what I mean? So the only other person who was in that same category is LL, who came out in the 80s and who was still relevant. And we were checking for them. Niggas was buying Blue Funk. It's not like niggas was in college like, oh, fuck Heavy D, he old, whatever. Not at all. Niggas was banging that album. You know what I mean? And also, he could go bar to bar with anybody. You know what I mean? Like that. So that's a huge thing. So
one last thing. I think he has one of the best verses on Self-Destruction, especially when you look at the video. Because when you look at the video, like when Heavy D did his part, I felt that shit. Like just the way he was, you know, the way he was walking, the way he was talking. And like I said before, it sounds like a joke, but anytime you can squeeze in, I don't agree with him within your rhyme, because you can humble that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, this nigga he just made it seem effortless when he was rhyming. So
yeah. And another thing for old heads, just for people to go back, use the same James Brown horn line that Rakim did for I Ain't No Joke for the overweight lovers in the house. Nobody was mad at it. Not one person was like, oh nah, Rakim's is better. Why the fuck have doing the same, using the same break? Nothing. Wasn't a mumbling peep. DJs would mix the two songs right on together. And nobody got mad. Nobody was upset. Nobody was like, yo, why this corny dude? Because to us, Heb wasn't corny. You know what I mean? So I don't know the disconnect between our generation and Generation Z or for these millennials, but that's the difference. Heavy D wasn't corny to us. And, you know, I would love to even have that conversation with somebody younger, like, well, why do you think he's corny? What, because he big? Big was big. Because he light-skinned? Like, what about Hev says corny? Because he didn't shoot up the block? Like, so it'll be an interesting conversation to have, but I just want younger people out there to understand Hev wasn't corny to us. Hev was, every Hev album that I just named, I brought. Like no problem. I Want Nothing But Love, Peaceful Journey, all that shit. What you gonna say, back?
I was gonna say, when I came to Morgan in '95, along with like the Jingling Baby remix, Overweight Lover, that shit was played in a party. And niggas wasn't holding up the wall when that song came on. Like, we was dancing because, you know, we grew up with it. So like a record like that, and they didn't play the Rakim joint. You know, they might have played like Microphone Fiend or something like that. But to have that record come out so long ago, and now I'm in college, and it's a part of a playlist for a DJ when he goes to the old school set, and the crowd reacts the way they do. I mean, that's timeless music. Like, so you got to give him his props.
And to me, that's the goal, or should be the goal for any artist, to make timeless music. Eddie, who do you have up for your list, bro? You muted, bro.
My bad. I'm gonna do the Jungle Brothers, man.
Got them on my list too.
Good one.
I think the Jungle Brothers don't get the respect. I mean, number one, for launching the Native Tongues, for being the first ones, you know, out of that collective. And, you know, I think obviously De La Soul and Tribe, you know, have had, you know, the lengthier and more kind of praised careers, you know what I'm saying? But I think what Jungle Brothers did as far as like establishing that sound, like the style, you know, with the black medallions and their, you know, lyricism, what they were talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, even, you know, popularizing the hip house, like, you know, I feel like when they did it, it was like, you know, this is dope. When everyone else did it, it was like,
I want to say they were the first. I think Girl I House You was the first. So like probably. they set that off. And it may have messed up hip hop house for me, because I love Girl I House You so much that everything else was just under it. It didn't even come close. Shit, you put on Girl I House You right now, nigga. It's like shit. It's like 1988 all over again for me, man.
You didn't like?
Nah.
Party.
Niggas, we gotta do a show about hip hop fads like that. Somebody tweeted to me today about, oh man, you forgetting about the hip hop slow jams. I'm like, bro, that's a whole episode right there. But now I'm with you, Eddie. Keep going.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, and they got classic records. You know what I'm saying? Arguably, you know, I think their first two can definitely be argued. You know, it can be argued, both of them. You know, so.
Yeah. And I had the Jungle Brothers too. To me, Straight Out the Jungle and Done by the Forces of Nature, again, 2 5 mic albums back to back, which is sometimes unheard of now, which is unheard of for them to do that back then. Straight Out the Jungle, one of my top 10 favorite albums ever of 50 years. And yeah, I just co-sign everything Eddie said, man. JB's, man. What's up, babe?
Did y'all see the video of Africa outside the restaurant?
Ramen, yeah.
So it was dope.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like a free concert. Like, he just came out and he just like, y'all got my drink. Started performing, and I was like, okay, man, I wish I was there.
This some recent shit.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Or something like that.
They were supposed to be on tour this summer, and I don't know if I missed it or something, because I was like, oh, the JB's on tour. Oh, I gotta go see it. I gotta go see that. So, JR, what you got for your first joint?
I'm gonna go with. I feel like Tevin Campbell doesn't get the credit that he deserves to me. You know, he made it possible for really child stars to sell, because before him it was kind of like they had like Shanice and Tracy Spencer and
now tell me this: what's Tevin Campbell's age when he came out?
12.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he came out, it was just like you didn't know how he was gonna sell, but when he did, you know what I mean, he blew. And then right after then, it was just like, all right, then now it was like, all right, we can get a kid star to sell. So then that's when you got the Aaliyah, the Brandy, the Monica, all this kind of stuff. But I think the only thing that people really talk about with Tevin is Can We Talk? That's it. Right. That's all people sing. And I'm like, yo, he got more stuff than this. Like, he got more hits than this. But everybody go back to Can We Talk? But they don't just really understand with him kind of pushing that child star stuff again. So I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for real.
It's weird, bro, because I feel like it's the gift and the curse. You know, the gift is you have a timeless song, which every artist should want. The curse is like, niggas, I got other timeless songs too.
But wasn't it crazy during that time? Can We Talk wasn't like that.
It wasn't that big. But I think the thing is with social media and what I'm finding out with TikTok is really TikTok. Like, Nay, I was playing Climax by Slum Village the other day, cutting my hair, and she comes in rhyming it, and I'm like, the fuck do you know about this? She was like, on TikTok. And I'm like, they playing Climax on TikTok? So I think that's the thing with social media and the challenges. When whoever started that Sing Can We Talk challenge, and then just everybody's doing it, it kind of even makes it even bigger than what it was at the time. You know, I actually was listening to the Boys in the soundtrack, and I forgot he had that song there called "Just Ask Me To." That was a banger, man. Yeah, yo, I forgot. I was like, yo, this shit was crazy when it came out. But like you said, people only talk about Can You Talk? Can We Talk? My other shit was what was that? I Just Want to Be Alone With You. That shit, that Kyle
Alone,
West.
That's my favorite Tevin song. Period.
That's a banger right there, man.
I wish Al B. Sure and Kyle West would have been on the I'm Ready rather than Prince. Because them Prince joints is whack. I don't care. If you a Prince fan, them joints is whack. Sorry.
I did like the shush. It just didn't sound right coming out of Tevin's mouth.
Right.
Great song if Prince did it, but nigga, I don't know, Tevin. Just take your little ass down the street.
We could have got like another Alone With You for real.
Right.
On Ready. Like that would have been dope, but I don't know what the hell Prince was doing when he gave him them other joints. Like them, he got a song with numbers and shit. Like, come on, yo. Like, nah, you out.
Prince went in there like, hey, here's some songs I don't want. You take them instead of songs for Tevin, you know. Exactly. But when you think about that, almost everything Prince did could have been a Prince song. You know what I mean? Like, so Prince wasn't one of those people who are tailor making a song for you. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like, nigga, this is what I got. You take it and you sing. Like, you know. But Rel, well, what you got up for your first joint, bro?
I got the Beat Nuts.
Oh, I got them too.
Yeah, so just a group that does their own production, does production for other people. Got classic songs, classic production on other people's stuff and their own. I just think they just get overlooked. They were a part of the Native Tongue at some point, correct?
Yeah.
I just think they one of them groups that just like they got a lot of dope material, but it don't get talked about. You know what I'm saying? Don't get talked about. And I think they were pretty versatile in their production. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you would hear a beat and you knew it was the Beat Nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like they can kind of produce songs for, because I mean the joints with the joint with Pun was that was a hit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a hit, and they can get a little grimy, jazzy, whatever. Like they were they were solid, one of my favorite groups, and they kind of just get, not on this show, but on other platforms, and they don't get talked about enough.
Right. I agree. I mean, to me, 3 solid albums. And to me, I kind of look at that like, I know in spades, 3 ain't shit. You know what I mean? 3 in a pos is just barely bored. But in hip hop, to me, if you could give me 3 solid albums, like, because I don't think the average person really has more than 3 solid albums. You may have, the Roots may have 38 records in their discography, but in my opinion, they got 3 solid albums. Even though 2 of them I'm saying are classics, so I'm not trying to do that. But I'm like, 3 solid albums is a lot. Intoxicated Demons, Beat Nuts, Musical Massacre, and Stone Crazy. Yo, from 93 to 98 to 99, them niggas was running shit to me. You know what I mean? Like Rel said, big hit with Off the Books. Off the Books was everywhere. You know what I mean? Bangers for Ghost, Common, Curious, Chi Ali, The Youngsters. I mean, I think the only thing that really held them back is they never really had a crew to produce for. So the Beat Miners, they had the whole boot camp clique. But I think if, let's say, the Beat Nuts did Pun's first album and it was a classic, I think they would be talked about more. Like if they had their own crew, because what happens a lot, I hear a lot of people say, I like their beats, but they couldn't rhyme. I didn't like the way they rhyme. You know what I mean? So I think that's what kind of hurts them. And my man Mills said this once. He said they're only as good as the loop that they find. You know what I mean? They really weren't ones for chopping up samples. They found a great loop. They freaked it, but like you said, they're only as good as the loop that they found. Next person I got up, I'm going to Philly with this, with Freeway, man. I feel like Freeway does not get the props he deserves. You got the Philadelphia Freeway album from 2003, the Free at Last, Philadelphia Freeway Part 2, the Stimulus Package, which to me is a 5 mic classic. I love that album. Diamonds in the Rough, Free Will, Think Free. I mean, it's longevity. I mean, here's the thing. He's got the new Stimulus Package 2 coming out with Jake 1 this year. That's probably my most anticipated album this year. So the fact that this boy came out in 2003 and it's 2024 and that's my most anticipated album, that says a lot to me. He stayed in his lane. Like, you know, he didn't try to do no club songs. He always just stayed to his core audience, kind of like what Styles P did. Like, I feel like that's what Styles P did. He's like, I'm not trying to make no radio songs. This is my core audience. I'ma feed them. He had his own style. I ain't gonna hold you. When Free first came out, I ain't like Free. You know what I mean? One, he battled Cassidy. For everybody knows, that's my young boy. He grew up across the street from me. So, you know what I mean? I didn't like Free just off of that battle, even though Cassidy won. But then his style just was off. Usually when people come with a new style, I don't like it at first. I didn't like Sadat at first. The first time I heard Sadat, I'm like, yo, dog, what's wrong with your voice? And why you rhyming like that? But then after I got used to it, I love it. Same thing was with Free. And on top of that, he's got bangers. He's got an anthem in What They Do. Okay, if you've never seen a Sixers game, let them throw on What They Do. Niggas gonna lose their mind. Bro, talk about how Phil in the air, niggas in Philly slow jam to it. Nigga, fucking What We Do is what they play in school every day to start the day off. Fuck the national anthem. We start that shit off with What They Do. So he's got the anthem and he's got club bangers, man. Rock the Mic was huge. And Flip Side with Petey Crack.
Flip Side and College, nigga, when that came on, man. Again,
and it's funny because one of my, I was talking on Twitter and somebody asked me like, yo, you know, Beans are Free. I'm like, yeah, you know, I think Beans is, you know, one of the best ever. He's like, what about Free? I was like, yeah, Free is dope. But he was like, yo, but you do know Free got much bigger songs than Beans. And I had to think about it. I'm like, oh shit, like, yo, you're right. Like Beans don't got no What They Do. You know, Beans don't really got nothing that's hitting in the club. I mean, he got that verse on that J joint, but it ain't his. You know, and then it kind of hit me like Free is kind of like the fucking Sean P and the Ghostface of State Property. Because when State Property came out, you would have been like, oh, Beans, Young Chris. Right. You may have said, you know what I mean? Like, Free was going to come third or even maybe further down the line. And out of everybody, Free is the one out here still, you know, making bangers. And salute to him. He lost.
I think Petey Crack dropped the ball.
Yeah, Petey could have been. I thought Petey was next. I was like, yo, Petey could be a star, but he went to jail. So that's what I mean. You may have said Beans, Young Chris, Petey. You may even said Ochino before you get to Free. And then at the end of the day, Free is the dude who's still standing there holding it. Salute to him. Man lost his father, his son, and his daughter, like all in a 3-year span. Kidney failure, had to get a new kidney. So I mean, just not for the music, but just for that man's wherewithal to still be able to perform. Dog, I don't know if I could get out of bed. And so the wherewithal that Free has is nothing but prayers to him. So that's it. Here's another person that nobody gets talked about R&B from, Alicia Keys. And I don't know what happened. I missed the memo on where it went, because look at JR's face. Somewhere along the line, this chick went from being the shit to nobody liking her. And I'm like, I never get the fucking memos. Nobody emails me, man. Like, nobody tweets me like she ain't cool no more. Here's the thing with Alicia. Alicia stayed with a song on the radio. And I don't mean just a song. I'm talking a big song. Fallen was everywhere when that thing came out. A Woman's Worth, You Don't Know My Name was everywhere. If I Ain't Got You was everywhere. Like You Never See Me Again with fucking Common dying in the fucking car crash, that was everywhere. Unbreakable was everywhere. Stay with the big song, 16 Grammys. I didn't realize this chick had 16 Grammys. I didn't know it was possible to win 16 Grammys. 17 NAACP awards? Nigga, I didn't know the NAACP gave out that many awards, period. Then she got 17 of them. Over 90 million records sold worldwide. 9 Billboard awards, 7 BET awards. Like, yo, what, JR, the look on your face is like you're disgusted with me right now. What happened?
Because I feel like Alicia Keys is discussed a lot. And
okay.
And you just proved it by everything that she has and the honors that she have. And when you talk about R&B from 2000 to 2010, Alicia Keys is discussed. If she's not, you're not an R&B head at all, because it don't make sense. Because Alicia killed that shit. Like I
fall back to you because you run in those crowds. I just, being on Twitter every day, I see a lot of people discussed. I see Jill discussed. I see Erica discussed. I don't see a lot about Alicia Keys. I don't hear the conversations. I never hear anybody bring up her name. Doing your shows, has anybody talked about Alicia Keys' album?
Yes, we talked about the Diary of Alicia Keys. Yes. Okay. Yeah, somebody has come on. I just think, again, it's the times. Now it's like after, like.
But do you agree with me? But do you agree that there's like, even people who I felt liked Alicia Keys then, something happened. Now, one of my homegirls was like, oh, well, women stopped fucking with her after the whole Swiss Beats and Mashonda. Like, you was fucking with a married man. And see, I don't get into the tea, so I don't know nothing about that. But she was like, well, that's why us women stopped fucking with Alicia because of that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think Alicia Keys ended herself with that Girl on Fire bullshit. Like, that's what happened. That's what did it. When she's screaming, she sounds stupid. Like, after that, it was done. Like, no. You know what I mean? So it was like that Girl on Fire was a mess. And then after that, everybody it was just like done. Everybody moved on. It was over. So
that's crazy. It takes just one song to just dead that kind of career. Shit, you play My Boo right now, niggas is up and on. Like, Alicia has some big ass songs.
She did.
I mean, babe, what were you gonna say?
I was just like to say I'm probably the only person that checks for Alicia Keys albums.
I'm with you, man. I always tap in. Now, have they been good? Nah, but I'm always just like, yo, because I love, the first two, like, I love those first two Alicia Keys albums, so I got that.
The third one was tough too.
Yeah, As I Am. There's some joints on there too.
But I agree with JR. The Girl on Fire album was the one where I was like, nah, this ain't it. I don't know what the goal is. And then I was like, oh, she got a song with Maxwell, and even with that, I was like, nah, I don't know what y'all thinking about. So
yeah. Nah, I feel you. So those are my two. Vague, what you got up next?
All right, the next one I have is Big Boy from Outkast.
Yeah, him too.
Disrespectful mother. First of all, he's one half of one of the greatest groups in hip hop of all time. If you're gonna put that stamp on a group, that means both artists equally contribute to the success, notoriety of this group. That's why they are considered one of the greatest groups of all time. Not, I think, Andre should go solo type situation. He's obviously held his own throughout that run with Outkast, getting better over time lyrically as far as flows and wordplay, sonically with the music, some of the production. Then he has a solid to strong solo catalog. Right now, y'all know I don't really mess with the titles because he always has some foolish shit in the titles that just don't make sense. But when you press play on the music, people complaining about not having Outkast, like you said with Freeway and Ghostface, I think when you listen to a Big Boy album, Outkast is in it. You hear it in the music. And you know, again, another guy who's like opened the door for a lot of dope artists, like you know, as far as influence and stuff like that, like Killer Mike, I like him, right? Yeah. So
Janelle Monáe,
right? Janelle Monáe. They've done the clothing line. They've done all kinds of things. You know, they've done movies or whatever. And I think he just doesn't get the props he deserves for not only being influential, but being a solid member in this duo, in this group, whose pen is still sharp, who makes great music. That's hip hop, obviously, but also tied to a lot of other genres of black music, in particular soul music, from the, you know, the production and everything. So he just doesn't get the props he deserves. It's almost like people aren't interested if it's not Outkast. You know, they see Big Boy as the weaker member in the group, but he's just as strong as 3 Stacks to me. So
yeah, I had 3000 too, and the thing that killed me is after we did the Hip Hop Monument episode and we were talking about statues, this boy on Twitter was like, "You want a statue at 3000?" I'm like, damn, so Big Boy just that other nigga? Like you just want one statue? Like, nigga, how the fuck you gonna be like, yeah, I just want a DMC statue? Like, no J, no Run, just DMC. And it's like, Sir Lucius Left Foot was 2010, Vicious Lies and Dangerous Rumors, Boomerverse, even the Big Sleepover with Sleepy. So from 2010 to 2022, this dude has been dropping solid solo albums. To me, Sir Lucius is a 5-mic classic for me. Speaker Box was crazy in 2000, just Outkast discography. Big does it all. You want him over a slow beat, he could do that. You want him over 120 BPMs, he could do that. He's going to give you everything you want, but for some reason, you know, it's again, if there's anything I've learned in 50 years, it's a gift and curse with everything. It's a gift to be in a group with an individual like 3000. He's probably going to push you creatively, just make you that much better. The curse is niggas gonna always, you know, just be on that nigga dick and just look right past you and act like you ain't shit, you know. So it's the gift and curse of that. So yeah, I definitely feel you on Big Boy. Kel, who you got up next?
I got EPMD.
You said who?
I think that EPMD.
Okay.
I think that's up to one. I think that another group, 80, you know, they're in the, you know, the golden age, but I think Wu-Tang, people talk about them, people talk about that, talk about Tribe. I think EPMD, and then I think the breakup doesn't help either. So I'm sure, you know, with Morgan, Hit Squad's the biggest thing, and you know, they fought out, with everything, you know, everybody, you know, keep everything. So I think them getting lost with the 92, I think with the, you know, Squad, you know, formed after Hit Squad and stuff. I think people get group duos down and you know, look at certain more, just put them all together.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was thinking EPMD. Sometimes I feel like I see their names mentioned on the timeline, but again, not for what they is. I mean, truth be told, I personally think EPMD. I haven't done the knowledge to really say how I feel, but they definitely have one of the dopest 4-album runs in hip hop history. I don't know if it's the best. It's damn near one of the best, if not the best. Because from Strictly Business up to that joint that dropped Kel for our freshman year in '92 with Headbanger on it, you know, with Crossover. I mean, these dudes just album after album. You have conversations with people our age. Everybody has a different favorite album, so it's not like everybody is like Strictly Business. Everybody is like Business Never Personal. everybody kind of has their own thing. They had their own style. The beats was crazy. So yeah, their name definitely needs to get mentioned a lot more than what it does. Eddie, who you got for your next one?
Oh, whoops, my bad. Clicked the wrong thing. I'm going with Onyx, man, because I feel like they get forgotten, and they had a moment. Like I say, 3 solid albums, and what I got for them, man, like the way they crossed over to like different fan bases, like they had their lane. They were like the hip hop, but it was like mosh pit music. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of had their own lane. It was dope. Like, dude, that first album, that Back the Fuck Up, man. I like 13-year-old me when that dropped, man. I played the hell out of that album, and then what they followed up, All We Got Is Us, I think, and Shut 'Em Down. Like those 3 dope albums, and I think what they dropped fairly recently, the joint with the Snow Goons was pretty decent, I want to say. But then you know what I'm saying, they went to movies, obviously. You know what I'm saying, they influenced styles like the whole ball head thing. And I think Sticky Fingers, like as far as like MC, I feel like where I don't think they get enough props is like lyrical ability, and Sticky is a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a lot of people think they just rah, but Sticky is dope. Like his solo album, I know Portia champions the hell out of that album. So yeah, man, Onyx.
All right, no doubt. JR, what you got up next?
I'm gonna say Faith.
I was thinking Faith.
I don't feel like Faith get a lot because it's like they always put her with Mary or Big. It's never her by herself. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Faith's bodies of work is nothing to play with. But when you talk about her, you got to talk about Mary or talk about Big. So she never really gets that. Her artistry never gets the respect that she really deserves to me. So
she kind of like Jan Brady. She just stuck in the middle. It's like Marsha.
Really, like it's like before Big, it was Mary, and then that's where she's at, and it's like, like Faith, man, as a vocalist and a songwriter, and then the way she stacks her vocals and all that, I'll Be Sure was like, she's amazing, but again, she don't get the credit she deserves like that. So
I think the hard part too is I felt like Puff, leaving Uptown, going to Bad Boy, he wanted another Mary. So it was just like Faith was his version of Mary. She doing I'm Going Down. She, we doing the same Rolls Royce. Like you ain't want to find another group that we do. Like you literally gonna have her do just another Rolls Royce song the same way.
And have Mary on it. Like
right.
Just
right. So I mean that's the hard part. And Puff is infamous on like, oh, Big died, no problem. There's a nigga in Brooklyn who sound like Biggie. I'll sign him. Like here goes Shine. Like Big. I remember when people forget Big was trying to sign Rick Ross and Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, oh, you just trying to get another Big and Lil' Kim type thing. You know what I mean? So Puff is infamous and has always been infamous on trying to replace and trying to just, regurgitate the same thing over and over. He's the nigga like Hollywood. Like, why we got a Fall Guy movie? Like, the Fall Guy series wasn't even that great of a series. Y'all only got a fucking Fall Guy movie. Like, what you gonna say?
I was gonna say, just with Faith, she got a solid 3-album run also.
Oh yeah.
Because that first album, fire. Like
that's my classic. That first album to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Nah, all right, Faith. I definitely feel that. Again, gift and the curse, man. Married to Big. Gift and the curse. And it didn't help too with that album she put out with duets. Like, no, why are you doing duets with old Big verses? Like, but I get it. Like you said, JR, the curse is y'all want me with Big so bad, y'all not buying this shit, so let me give y'all an album with Big. But niggas wasn't fucking with that either. So it's like you said, then you start fucking Stevie J, and that just goes crazy. So yeah. Rel, what you got up next?
I got Master Ace.
Cool.
I'm gonna say for a couple reasons. The longevity, it doesn't get talked about enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, you know, we give LL, you know, his props for longevity and all that, rightfully so. But Masta Ace's longevity need to be talked about in the game as well. Also, I think one of the most versatile artists, hip hop artists ever. Because if you think about, let's think about like his early stuff, and then think about like when Sitting on Chrome and all that came out. Like, that was a totally different sound. You know what I'm saying? And totally different sound, totally different time. And then you got the concept albums. Like, he just was super versatile, bro. And like, he needs to be talked about more when these hip hop conversations come up. Not on here, of course, but on other platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like, he get love on here, but I don't see him get talked about enough other places, yo. Like if you really sit back and think about it, like, when did he come out? What year was that?
This is 1990.
Okay, and then,
around, which I personally feel is a 5 mic classic. Me and the Biz, I love this album. Like, Marley Marl still in his bag on this album. So you talking about 1990? Didn't he just drop an album either this year or last year?
Yeah.
This year. Yeah. So I mean, you talking about 1990 to 2024? I mean, nigga, do the math. A lot of you Twitter niggas can't do the math. So, but it's long fucking time.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely Masta Ace for me.
All right, no doubt. Next up, I got OC. You starting off in 94. Jewels in 97, Bon Appetit in 2001, Star Child 2005, Oasis with OG in 2009, Trophies with Apollo Brown 2012. Over the years, he's had 14 albums or EPs out. I mean, the nigga got word. I mean, the nigga got Time's Up. Like, you're talking one of the greatest hip hop songs ever. I think if you got a group of people in a room, 45, 46 and older, and we really had to sit there and go through the best 100 songs in hip hop ever, I definitely believe Time's Up would be in that grouping of songs. And I just want people to understand, we've had 50 years of hip hop. It's been a lot of songs, y'all. So to make the top, because niggas on Twitter love to be like, oh damn, kill top 100 like that. Like, nigga, it's probably been over fucking 200,000, 500,000 songs over 50 years. So making the top 100, y'all gotta stop acting like making the top 5. Anything after that is just whack. Like, y'all gotta stop pushing the boundaries with that, because making the top 100 over 50 years, that's a lot. I personally think it would make the top 50, but I mean, I think the only reason why he doesn't really get his props is because he just came out in the shadow of Nas. Like, you're talking about two dope MCs, two dope lyricists, you know, but he dropped in 94. And I feel like Wild Pitch was not the album, not the label that was going to push you to the extent of what a Big was going to get pushed by a Bad Boy or anything like that. So I feel like OC kind of just falls down that lane. And for the R&B tip, I'm going to go with Raheem DeVaughn, man. I'm always big on Raheem does not get the props he deserves. This man has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums out going back from 2005 to 2020. They're all dope. Not a whack joint in it. So his discography is crazy. Longevity is crazy. He speaks on social issues, on the Love and War, the 2-disc album he put out. Certified slow jams. If you into slow jams like I am, Raheem is gonna lace you with that. Vague talks about he was at a show. Raheem wasn't even supposed to get on the stage. He wasn't even on the bill. He just got up there and just rocked it. Like, you know, Raheem is just, you know, and then being out here in DC, running into him from time to time. Cool boy. I just don't think anybody mentions his name. What's the brother's name who went to Howard, who's a big indie artist? Trey talks about him a lot. Light skinned brother.
Eric Roberson.
Eric Roberson. Yeah. I feel like Eric Roberson gets talked about more than Raheem DeVaughn does. And I'm not saying he's not deserving of that. I'm just saying that I just think Raheem, you know, name should ring a little more bells than what it rings right now. You know what I mean? Because he's got it, and I have really no idea. To me, the only thing I can think of is, like we always say, is just not enough spots out there. You know, I feel like the human brain can only like look at like no more than 3 people at a time, and it's like until someone gets kicked out of that list, we can't add nobody else to that list, because you never really hear somebody be like, oh yo, I like Eric Roberson, Anthony Hamilton. Like you rarely ever see somebody name over like 4 or 5 people that they fuck with in a certain genre of music. So I don't know what it's gonna take for Raheem to do it. I mean, if 8 solid ass albums, the nigga can fucking sing. Like I don't know what else this dude, and I can understand the frustration of an artist to be like, yo, what the fuck else do I gotta do? Like what else do I don't know what else is left. Got the Grammy nomination with Woman, produced by, you know, God bless the dead, Chucky Thompson. So it's just like, again, I don't know what else he has to do. Veg, what you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the issue for Raheem DeVaughn, when he dropped, it felt like it was at the tail end of music that sound like that. You know,
we're about to say that. Yep.
And the R&B music kind of switched up a little bit, so he was sounding more like the neo soul era, even though it was all great.
Yep.
But it was kind of like the fans were off that, you know. So regardless of what he dropped, especially that what's that one joint, like Loveland or something like that, like
a place called Loveland. That's my favorite album from him.
Yeah, like that album is perfect. But it's just like, you got to be checking for it in order to, you know how dope it is, and that's kind of sad considering everything you said. Kill, like, musically is great. Brother can sing. I didn't see this nigga 100 times on accident. It's just like, damn, right? Oh, this is an Onyx concert. Like, what the fuck? And yo, no practice at all. No warm up, nothing. He just come out with the microphone and kill it. So he's underappreciated big time.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point, because I got put on to Raheem. My man Apex told me about him. He was like, yo, if you fuck with D'Angelo, you fuck with this nigga Raheem. So he was coming in that way. But the first time I heard him was on Jazzy Jeff's joint, The Magnificent. He had this joint called For My Peoples, which was crazy. But like you said, I think it was just timing, man. I think so much is just about timing, you know, and when you come out and when your stuff drops, and you know, and it's almost, maybe we'll do a show on this, because it almost feels like the bad part about in the old days with record labels is we get signed, the album's done, the album's just sitting because we gotta wait for the CDs to get pressed up and all. Nowadays, you can just drop the album right now on YouTube. Like, you could just drop it right now. Like, there are this Kendrick back and forth. Like, every morning I woke up to like 10 new diss songs, and it was like, yo, this could never happen in the 80s, because who the fuck, who's getting it on the radio, who's mixing that, who mastered it that quick, how do y'all get on this price? Nowadays, it's like, I recorded it, sent it to Apple, it's in there, we go, like, it's like we don't, you know. And I think that may have helped a lot of artists if they were able to get that music out, because when the iron is hot, like, you gotta strike, you gotta get it out there. But if the label is gonna take 3 months to promote it, you know, and record it, it's going to seem like it's going to take forever. So a lot of people miss out on their window. Kel, what you got up next, bro? Oh, what you going to say, JR?
And that's why I was going to say it actually worked for Maxwell, because I always say Maxwell's album was out before D'Angelo. But he said, I'm going to let D'Angelo go first and see how this works. Like, I'm going to let him go first. And when D'Angelo went first, it was smart, because right after he came, it's all about timing, like you said, because after Maxwell came after D'Angelo, the album went, you know what I'm saying, it blew.
So Maxwell's album was out first.
No, Maxwell's album was actually done.
Oh, it was done. Okay.
It was done. And then Yard was like, nah, let's put out D'Angelo's Brown Sugar first. Let's see how this works. And you know, when D'Angelo first came out, it didn't hit like that until like 95, the beginning of 96, once he came out with Lady. That's when it took off. And then it was like, oh, okay, then Maxwell comes out and he blows. But could you imagine if Maxwell would have came out first, how that would have went? It would have went like, he might have would have been like a Raheem DeVaughn, for real. It could have went that way if he would have came out first. So it's like the timing, like you said, it's always about timing. I feel bad for Raheem, because we did an episode with Kendrick and the Family Soul, and they went through the same thing. Like, they came out.
I got them on my list too.
They came out a year too late. And like you said, music was starting to change and neo soul was kind of out the door, and it was a whole new sound coming in, and a lot of those people got pushed. So it was like Raheem, Kendrick and the Family Soul, like a lot of them got thrown under there. And I feel bad because Raheem, like you said, that 8 albums is dope. Like, he don't have no bad music at all. And then it's just like nobody.
And it's fucked up because, and again, y'all know me, I love D'Angelo, but this nigga got 3 albums. Raheem got like fucking like 21. And it's still like, God damn, man.
Too.
Like, yo, you know, D'Angelo ain't had an album out in 10 years and niggas still, but I'm sure this how Big Boy feel. Like, yo, this nigga Dre ain't had an album out since the fucking Love Below and a goddamn Flute album, and y'all still be talking about this nigga and don't pay no attention to me without this nigga get a goddamn statue of him playing the flute before I get a statue in ATL, man. It's gotta suck, man. It's gotta suck. Kel, who you got up next, bro?
I got you talking about see, I think Houdini's underrated. I think that you know, he doesn't get enough respect.
That's a great one.
Multi-platinum album. Again, like you said, I don't like to talk about sales too much either, but I didn't even know they had 4 platinum albums, to be honest with you. But mega hits. I mean, Big Mouth,
Freaks Come Out at Night. One Love.
Night. I mean, I think, and you got to verify this. I read something that the first group to have breakdances. I got to verify. I'm not sure you were on stage. UTFO with their dances.
I don't remember UTFO having dances.
No,
so yeah,
UTFO was Houdini's dances.
Oh, UTFO was Houdini's dances. Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, yeah, you're right. Fuck, I got in the intro of the 105B. Right.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
So, I mean, I think, you know, the trend of that, you know, obviously that means to launch UTFO's career too on top of that. So I just think that they don't get talked about enough either.
Yeah. Houdini, and people don't really remember this. For a moment in time, y'all know me in a moment in time, they were bigger than Run DMC. For a moment in time. I didn't say for a year. For a moment in time. I just think,
no doubt.
I remember after the Black and Bag album came out, that had Funky Beat, which was big, and One Love was just huge. After that, they came out with the Open Sesame album with these niggas on the flying carpet with Millie Jackson, and it just was like, nah, y'all, this ain't it. I looked at the album cover, I said, oh shit, these niggas on a magic carpet, and the name of the album is Open Sesame. Like, nah, nigga, like, y'all niggas stuck in like 1980.
Millie Jackson, right?
Yep, with Millie Jackson. And I just remember I didn't know who Millie Jackson was. I'm like, who's this old lady who keeps screaming on the chorus? And it's like, this was not a good look. So, and then I think it was hard too, because once Run blew up, Run DMC really took over, it kind of was like the 2 MCs and a DJ thing. You know what I mean? So I think it that didn't work. Like at that time in the infancy stages of hip hop, I don't think we really minded that. I mean, hell, I didn't mind it. I thought they both could do their thing, because to me they were 2 separate groups. They didn't make any type of similar music. When you listen to Houdini, it was not like, oh, this sounds like Run DMC or vice versa. But that's a good call. Houdini definitely deserves more props with that. Vague, who you got up next?
Next I have Redman. I think a lot of times Redman gets clumped with Method Man, like as if they've been a group their entire lives, and he got 3 arguably classic albums by himself that are better than everything in Method Man's catalog. Like, Method Man does not have an album to match any of those 3 albums, in my opinion. Not only his catalog of music, but he's a monster when it comes to freestyle. I remember he was on High 97 with Flex. Flex had to stop him, and you couldn't tell me it wasn't written. And it was effortless. It was humor in there. You know what I'm saying? It was stuff that sounded crazy. All of that. Also, he's basically stood tall, rhyming next to some of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. You know what I'm saying? Redman's never the whack one out from him being with the Wu, right? Like, Supreme Clientele. When that nigga said, "And your weed got more seeds than ODB," I was like, "Yo, Redman is still crazy with it." Like, you know what I'm saying? Even now, you know, he does dope joints with Wu-Tang. But yeah, with songs with Big, different people. Like, Redman is probably one of the most original rappers of all time. Like, you can't mistake him for anybody else but Redman. His voice, his projection, the way he articulates when he spits his rhymes, like, he just doesn't get a lot of props, you know, like that others do. And it's unfortunate because I don't think people understand how dope Redman was, especially back in the early to mid 90s. So
yeah. And you talk about freestyles. I mean, the Redman that was on that 30 PMD album, like even before his debut album came out, those were, I'm talking about the Redman we used to walk around with tissue stuck up his nose, you know, with the crazy afro. Like, that Redman was crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel you on that. Red's definitely a dope pick. Eddie, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna go with Talib Kweli, man. And I know, you know, people don't mess with him, man, because of his social media antics. But,
and why don't we mess with Talib again? Y'all know I don't know the tea. I don't get the memos. What did this nigga do this time?
Well, Talib should have listened to his fans and, like, got off Twitter, because he will argue with people. He was arguing with first arguing with racists, but then what happened was people started trolling him, right? So then he was arguing with trolls, and then people would come in and really be on his side and trying to, like, talk him off the ledge, and he'd attack them. But really what got him in people's shit list was attacking black women on Twitter, basically, right? It's like, bro, what you doing? But
bro, that is one I will rumble any Stan fan base that comes before me, except black women. I jump out the window with them. Right. I said something about some marital advice I gave, and one black woman got in and started fucking retweeting that shit, and it was just all these angry black women. I just deleted it. I was like, y'all not canceling me today, and that's the only time I've ever deleted a tweet. They are the ones I'm scared of. Fuck the racists, but angry black women, nah, nigga. They roll deeper than any fucking body out here. Right. They make up the Beehive, the Navy, the goddamn Barbs. They make up all that shit. They like Voltron. Like, you get a black woman angry on Twitter, nigga. It's like they all come together to form to destroy you. And it was just, I just was like, let me just delete the tweet. Didn't even happen. Let's forget all about it. But all right, so Talib Kweli.
Yeah, Talib. I mean, if you take away that, right, the impression that he made that kind of screwed him up. But if you look at just the music and the impact, right? He was at the forefront of the raucous movement. Him and Mos Def, Shabam Sadiq, who, like, I thought he would blow up, and fuck, I don't know what happened to him. But you know what I'm saying? Talib then, you know what I'm saying, connected with, you know, he had his singles, then he connected with Mos to do Black Star, connected with High Tech for the Reflection Eternal. Like, his actual, consider his solo debut album, Quality, was dope. Had that banger produced by Kanye. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, had some dope albums. Did his joint with his first joint with Madlib was crazy. The Liberation. Came out with another one. Like, he's dropped some really dope music. Like, he had some slept on joints. Like, he had this EP with Styles P that I thought was crazy. It was called The Seven. Yeah. Like, he's put out some real dope music. Like the new Liberation album, Liberation 2, that he dropped this year. That joint is crazy. And I think his antics have overshadowed what he's done in his career. But that's why I think he slept on.
Talib was another one of them MCs, just like Sadat and Freeway. When I first heard him, I was like, why is he rap? Like, what style is this? I hated his voice. my intern shot 889 would always, when Black Star came out, and we were all talking about Moosey, like, nah, to live nice. I'm like, man, fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? But eventually I fuck with Talib. Like, I got a Best of Talib mixtape that's really dope. And I think a lot of people haven't paid attention to a lot of his solo career and the Reflection Eternal stuff, especially that first RE album. I think that's a 5-mine classic. And his book is actually pretty dope too. He has a book out that's dope. That was definitely a dope read. JR, what you got up next?
I'm gonna say Freddie Jackson.
Okay.
I feel like he obviously it's just him and Luther. It's always him getting compared to Luther. And like we said on the show, it's like Freddie was actually doing better than Luther with us. You know what I'm saying? As far as
that's true. That's true.
Now hold tight. Now I'm lost right now. Freddie was black folk like
yes.
Freddie Jackson
was doing better than Luther chart wise.
Oh, okay, chart wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was doing better than him chart wise, but everybody look at it like, oh, Luther was just doing so much better than Freddie, and he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like they were damn near equal. It's just Luther just had more of a machine behind him than Freddie. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I just be like, and then man, from 85 to 92, Freddie was killing it. But he never gets that credit at all. So it's just like,
and I wonder if it's just because I have no idea. The only thing I know about Freddie is Rock Me Tonight for old time's sake. You know, it's just what my pop played. And again, my mom jazz all day, so my pop is where I got any type of soul from. And it was Luther. Every cookout, it was Luther, more Luther. You know what I mean? Like, and with Freddie, it was like I fuck with Freddie like on some old 1 or 2 songs here and there, but I didn't know he had a run like that.
Yes. Like he was actually the best. He was the best artist in '88, and they gave him an American Music Award for it. And Luther came out then, so it was just like, for real, Freddie deserves a little bit more. I'm glad that they honored him at the Black Honors for real, just to give him a little bit. You know what I mean? Because he never gets the credit he deserves. His run was nuts, so I think he deserves a little more too to be talked about.
What you gonna say, Beck?
You Are My Lady, man.
Fuck, right.
Like,
yeah. Jam Tonight, nice and slow.
Jam Tonight.
Yeah, right.
All right, so here's the thing. So since he has these joints, why do you think Luther? I mean, I know you said The Machine, but y'all are naming songs, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Like, why? So he had the hit, so they were out. So it's not like, normally it's like The Machine is there and it overshadows what the other artist is doing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Beyonce's out, fucking Sierra's out, but Beyonce's Machine is gonna make Sierra look. But y'all naming bangers that I forgot about. So why do you think Luther? Because even with The Machine, Freddie still had bangers.
Freddie didn't, but Freddie was not gonna compromise himself to cross over either. If you listen to Luther's and you listen to Freddie, Luther got some songs that you know he wanted to cross over with. Like, you knew there was some songs that was like, all right, Luther, I know, we see what you're trying to do. You got to get that crossover.
Give me an example. I really want to learn, because I'm like,
if you listen to Stop the Love, Give Me a Reason,
Our Love.
Yeah, it's like those are all crossover material.
Word? Like, those are songs that I fucking absolutely love. You know what it is with me? I think when I think crossover, I'm thinking a song that sounds white. I think we've been through this before, JR. Like, when the way I define crossover is like, you're trying to cross. I'm 5 Heartbeats. We're trying to cross over to them. And when I hear Stop the Love or Give Me the Reason, which may be one of my favorite Luther songs, I don't hear trying to make white people like my music.
But listen to the first 3 albums that Luther did. You would never would have gotten a Give Me a Reason. You would never would have got a Stop to Love. If you listen to that debut, that joint is black. If you listen to the second one, it's the same.
Biggity black.
Yes.
Biggity black.
Getting to like Give Me a Reason and those type of albums, you like, okay, all right, Luther, I see what you're trying to do. That Here and Now and all of that, that's that.
All right, so JR,
Yeah.
What would be your definition of crossover? So you feel like Give Me the Reason was trying to get white people?
Yes, because it was on a white soundtrack.
Yeah, it was.
I apologize, nigga. You ain't gotta look at me in that tone of face. That nigga just gave me the dumbass look. I'm like, well,
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to learn. This is why the youth don't come to you, motherfuckers.
You know what?
Because you get looked at like that when you ask a question. All I did was say, I didn't know.
You know why? No, because me and Elise was on this show and we went back and forth with somebody because they was like, we don't get what you mean. And I'm like, and they said, what about Give Me a Reason? And we was like, it's on a white soundtrack. So clearly he made it for that. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, and Luther always chased a #1 record. He wanted that #1 pop song. So he knew songs to do it with. After he realized when he couldn't do it with Here and Now, and he did the Endless Love joint with Mariah, and he still couldn't get it, Luther was like, all right, I'm done. Throw my hands out. I'm just gonna go back to what I do. You know what I mean? And that's was that. Freddie was like, I'm not doing that. Freddie was like, I'm gonna keep mine the way it is. Y'all gonna get all these You Are My Ladies and Rock With Me Tonight and Tasty Love and all of them type of joints. And Luther Freddie was like, I'm not singing for them. I'm singing for my people. That's the one that's supporting me anyway. So you know mainstream ain't like that either. So they like, all right, we gonna give him a little bit of budget. We gonna give him a $500,000 budget, but give Luther like $6 million. So you gonna know who's gonna get the more promotion, who's gonna get the more love, and that's what happened. So, all
right, everybody, don't ask JR a question.
Oh my God, I didn't mean it.
I'm joking. Hey, what you gonna say?
I was gonna say I agree with JR. I think in a lot of ways, even maybe not so much just for white people, which, you know, definitely included, but just certain radio hits, club hits. I felt like Luther was chasing that, Give Me a Reason and stuff like that. Like even in one of Martin's stand-ups, I think it was on Def Jam or something, how he was like, we don't like that fast Luther, give me the slow joints. And I agree. Like, I didn't think about it at the time, but yeah, Freddie Jackson kind of stayed in the pocket with the records that hit with us. I wasn't a fan of both of these niggas with the shoulder pads. Like, God damn. I seen that commercial with Mello and them. Like, Freddie Jackson and Luther stayed with the sharp ass shoulder pads. And I was like, what is that?
Oh man. All right, cool. This is why I want you up here, JR, so I can learn about the R&B stuff. Bro, what you got up next, bro?
We can do producers, right?
Yeah.
I got Ski Beats.
That's a great pick right there.
I got Ski because, you know, the early Jay-Z, the Camp Lo, all that stuff. Like he was crazy during that time. I don't know why, like, and you could probably have a better answer, Kill, why it kind of faded a little bit. But I was just looking at his production credits, man. He was going crazy, like 94, 95, 96, 97, around that time. He had the joints, you know, the Reasonable Doubt stuff. He produced on Bahamadia's album, Camp Lo, Little Kim's album. I mean, he was going crazy. I'm looking, yeah, he was going crazy. And then it kind of faded a little bit, but he was still doing, I mean, I don't know how many people listen to Currency. He was doing a lot of Currency's production as well. And I just think he was super dope, man. And he don't really get, you know, talked about like that on the producer tip. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure he got some recognition.
Yo, it's crazy because I had to pull up my Best of Ski mixtape because I want to say maybe 96, 97. Ski may have been my favorite producer. I'm just looking at this mixtape. Jay Streets is watching. Who You With? Bahamadia, You Know How We Do. Camp Lo, Cooley High, Paradise remix. John Blaze with Fat Joe, Big Pun, and Lock with Locksmith. I Declare War with Pace One. Jay's in My Lifetime, Dead Presidents. Most Def, Cream of the Planet, Cooley High, Jay's People Talking, Taxi, Most Def. I mean, Lucchini. This nigga's the man behind Lucchini, Feeling It. Black Nostalgia. I mean, just bangers. I think what kind of happened, I think Jay stopped fucking with Ski at a time. Ski did his Rock a Block records. I remember I was so hyped for that Sporty Thieves album, even though I hate that shit, No Pigeons. And that whole Sporty Thieves album was like a huge letdown, man. Like, because I felt like this was the opportunity. I was just watching Speak, which is actually my favorite sports show, and they was like, yo, is Luka's window closing? And I felt like Ski's window was that Rock a Block. Like, if that Sporty Thieves album would have been crazy, I think that would have kind of really put his name into the conversation. Because again, the thing that Ski didn't have outside of Camp Low, and Camp Low stuff came late. Like, I remember Cooley High had to be like 94, and I don't think that album dropped to like 97. Like, it kept getting pushed back. So it kind of was like, if that album would have dropped when Lucchini dropped, like I think the 12-inch for Lucchini dropped to maybe 95, 96. If that Uptown Saturday Night would have dropped immediately, like Lucchini lived for 2 months, and then you got the album, we may be talking about Ski and the group who's next on my list, Camp Low, in a totally different sphere. But I just remember being at 889, like, wait, like, yo, where the fuck is the album? Like, yo, why is this album taking so long? You know, we just talked about that earlier with being able to upload your album now, when whatever it was with Profile Records, it just took them like 2 extra years to put that album out. By that time, like, the momentum of Lucchini, for the most part, as being a big song at that time, was kind of gone. But Ski was nasty with it, man. I mean, when you really think about what he laced Jay with, I don't want to say it's better than what Primo laced him with. I'm not gonna go there, but I'm just saying, Streets is watching, Who You With, you know, fucking Feeling It, you know, Politics as Usual. Those are some big ass songs, man. I may have to take that over fucking Friend or Foe and The Evils and fucking Bring It On. I might have to take Ski's Part of Reasonable Doubt over Primo's, and that's kind of crazy to sit here and say, but that's how big Ski was at that time. So I think Camp Low was the point. I just think in those days you had to produce a group, you know, and Ski kind of was just like, I call him a Zartan. Like, Zartan really don't fuck with Cobra. That nigga's like fucking nigga for hire. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that nigga fucking with whoever got the bag. And I feel like those type of producers in the 90s didn't do well. You had to have a group. Like, Primo produced for Gangstar. Yeah, he could go do. I think if Primo did all that other shit but didn't have Gangstar, I don't know if we would look at him in the same light. I'm not saying we wouldn't say he was great, but being able to have your own group kind of just meant something. Or being able, well, Primo still would have been able to do it because he would have been saying, I did J. Rule's whole album. I felt like you had to produce a whole album. So I feel like Ski kind of fell in the same place where we talked about the Beatnuts. He wasn't able to produce the whole Pace One album. He wasn't able to produce a whole Jay-Z album. He wasn't. If he would have produced all of Reasonable Doubt, maybe we'd be talking about Ski differently. You know what I mean?
And I think now that you say that, it just reminded me. I think when he did have his own group, it didn't really do that well. Because you remember Can I Get Open?
Right.
Remember Original Flavor? I know Can I Get Open? Yeah. We heard that. We was going crazy off that song. Yeah. Was crazy. But the album, Original Flavor's album, didn't live up to to that single and the hype. So I think that's a good point. I think that kind of probably messed him up, that he didn't have that group that, you know what I mean, that he can. And
at the point with the Original Flavor joint, Ski's young, so he's still probably learning the game. So he kind of probably
at the same time,
right? So he probably, I feel like he perfected his craft with Reasonable Doubt. You know what I mean? So that Can You Get Open? So in between that and Reasonable Doubt, I felt like he perfected his sound. Because again, Streets is watching. Come on, bro. Like that beat is crazy. But I'm with you on Ski, and then that can lead us right into who I got next, Camp Low. You know, I felt like they had the originality, they had their own style, timeless songs with Lucchini. I remember when I first heard Cooley High, I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Y'all using Janet's Funny How Time Flies? Like, that's crazy. Then the Ski came with the Paradise remix with the Michael Jackson Lady in My Life. And I was just like, yo, these dudes is dope. And a lot of people think, again, one-hit wonders. They had Uptown Saturday Night in 97. Let's Do It Again in 2002. Black Hollywood in 2007. Stone and Robert, 2009. Another Heist in 2009. And here's the one, y'all. 80 Blocks from Tiffany Part 2 with Pete Rock. Yo, that shit. is crazy. If they didn't have like 27 songs, I'm not even exaggerating, it's like 27 songs on there. If they would have cut that shit down to like the best 14, 5 Mike album easy. 5 Mike album easy. Their song, they have a song with MOP. I'm like, Camp Lo and MOP? Perfect. Sounds incredible. The beat is crazy. They got a song with Uncle Murder. Sounds like, and you're reading the track list like Camp Lo and Uncle, but everything just fits dope. And just the same thing. I just think that Upsound Saturday Night just coming out 2 years too late, man. Like they needed to strike while the iron was hot with Lucchini. And again, I don't know, maybe the whole album wasn't done. I don't know, Profile. I don't even think Profile had a lot of artists at the time, so I can't even see it being like, well, we got to drop these 5 albums first. I don't know what it is, but yeah, Camp Lo was one of mine. And the R&B joint, I got Bilal. I feel like Bilal's name does not get mentioned enough. Firstborn Second in 2001. 5 Mike album. Love for Sale. That was supposed to drop in 2005. It got shelved. 5 Mike album. Like, I feel like this boy would have put out 2 back-to-back 5 Mike albums. Airtight's Revenge in 2010. Another solid album. To me, this nigga was like the 2000s Vinia Mojica. This nigga was everywhere. Features. He got with Jay on Fallen, K-Dot, the Pimp a Butterfly. That nigga's all over the Pimp a Butterfly. Commons, Faithful, and the Sixth Sense. Talib's Waiting for the DJ. Clips is Nightmares. He's all over Robert Glasper. Fucking The Roots on Undone. Like, when you really look at Bilal and how many people he's been featured on in different genres of music. So not just hip hop, but Robert Glasper on some jazz shit. And I don't hear nobody, that nigga, talk about Bilal. And I have no reason, I have no idea why. Because this man has the discography, he has the features, he has his distinctive voice. Again, Firstborn Second to me, I love that album. Like that album, I mean, Soul Sister, I mean, oh my god, it's so much stuff that's just on that. And what I love about him is, again, he's cut from that D'Angelo cloth, because Love for Sale don't sound shit like Firstborn Second. Airtight's Revenge don't sound shit like Love for Sale. First time I heard Airtight's Revenge, I was like, I don't like this shit. And I just kept listening because I really fuck with Bilal. And then I'm like, oh, like, I got it. Bilal's just one of them artists. You can't be like, this is supposed to sound like this. You just gotta open your ears and just be ready to go with whatever he puts out. So again, I have no idea. You see the amount of people who've used them. I mean, Jay, this nigga's on the Pimp a Butterfly, like all over it. Not like on one song. He's everywhere on it. So yeah, I got no idea. You know, I'm lost, but that's what I got. Kel, who you got up left?
Back to Queens. Kool G Rap. I think Kool G Rap first. I'm not going to compare Sports 4 to a De La or EPMD or anybody like that.
Now, we've talked about this before. We've talked about this before. Me and Calvin, because Calvin's told me before he thinks G-Rap doesn't get enough props. I actually think G-Rap's name is mentioned a lot. So I'm always open to this discussion. So, but you feel like he doesn't really get the props he deserves. Why? Cal, you still there?
He froze.
He might be frozen. Oh damn, man! This is a good conversation because he told that to me. He told that to me on the timeline. I'm not like, word. You don't think G-Rap? Like, I think G-Rap gets every ounce of props. You know what I mean? So we'll come back to Cal. Prayerfully, we get him back on vague. Who you got up next?
Up next, I got Missy. I feel like, considering the type of hip hop that people label hip hop now, and the way Missy's brand of hip hop was treated back in the days, she deserves a lot more props for what she's done as far as making hits. You know, going back to the album that's like an ode to old school hip hop, which was crazy. Like, Work It is crazy. That song is fucking hot.
Yes.
Man, the way Missy flowing on that joint, somebody who can sing, who's making hip hop albums. You know what I'm saying? She's not like, all right, well, I'm gonna do this because I I could go over here and sing, or maybe because the hip hop audience ain't really feeling me like that, let me do a little bit more singing. She was really sticking to to the hip hop side of things for the most part. Influential. I remember before Now. I remember when Lil Wayne was with the Hot Boys. He was on 106 in Park, and I was shocked when he said his influence was Missy Elliott back then. And I was like, wow, because nobody said that. You know what I'm saying? At that time. And you could see it in his rhymes, and Bling Bling, the way he would play with sounds, it was just like Missy. And when you look back at her career, she's an award-winning not only hip-hop artist but songwriter, producer. Like just her working with Timbaland, with people from like Aaliyah and all of that. Like Missy deserves a lot of props, because she's like, y'all like to be calling everybody a GOAT. Like, y'all need to start putting that tag on Missy, because I don't know many, especially when it comes to the ladies, but I don't know many who's done it in the way she's done it, humbly. You know what I'm saying? Because she's always humble about it. But I think she just deserves a lot of props for what she's done for music, and I'm glad nowadays she's more appreciated, considering everything she's done. So yeah, Missy needs to be, in the hip hop sense, needs to be mentioned more for what she's done for the game, to expand it. So.
The funny thing about Missy and me is that I swear, man, if I was an A&R, that's the job I would have lost. I would have got fired, because when I first heard Missy on that Gina Thompson remix with the he 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 he, I was like, no. If that's what, no, we ain't signing her. No, I'm a pass. We gonna know. You keep on. You say go right across the street to EMI, Missy. We good on that. And I would have got fired for that one. Cause
look, I'm with you, because when I was at the Morgan parties and it was all that, I was like, yo, this is what we doing now. We doing
even I Can't Stand the Rain. I didn't like that. I don't think I really rocked with Missy until Sock It to Me with the Brat. I was like, now this shit is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, but I would have definitely got my A&R title taken for that one. But nah, you're 100% right, bro. Just from the stuff that she's written, like you said, just for other people, the stuff she did for 702s, is that their third album, JR?
The second.
Make Time and all that?
Oh, that's my joint. Oh my God, yeah, that second album, yeah.
The shit that she did for Whitney Houston's Say Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, man, like, yeah, I agree with you 1,000,000%.
And I love the fact that you said, Vegas, that she can sing, because I know when I put this on the time, I think me and Kill was going back and forth, because nobody talks about it. When she was on All the Time.
Oh, man.
LSG, Faith, Coco, Donnie, all these real singers on there, and she ends it, and Missy holds her own. Like, people sleep. Like, Missy can sing, and I'm glad that, like, Whitney came out and said, like, y'all need to stop playing. Like, Missy can sing, like, for real. And for her to be on a song like that with all them dramatic singers like that, and get on there and do what she need to do, I was just like, yeah, Missy's nothing to play with, and she deserves a lot more too. So I'm glad you said that, Veg. She do. So I'm glad the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to be honest. So she deserved it.
I wonder if it's because her videos were so playful, so it's almost like people don't take you serious because you're doing all this. Like, and the videos were crazy. Like, we ain't even getting to video concepts, because that alone, like, she knocks that out the park. But I'm just wondering, like, well, maybe it's because, like, it was silly, but, I'm like, yo, that's the dope part about video. She was doing her own shit. She wasn't doing the blueprint of everybody else's video. She was doing her own original thing.
But she was consistent, like you said, because, look, Missy did her own soccer. She came in with the hee-how. So it was like, with that, she's been consistent her whole time. So everybody looking at it like, oh yeah, it's just some playful stuff, but it's been her. Like, she has not changed at all. So, it's just, to me, it'd be like, yeah, Missy, y'all wild. And like, and you right, man, put the GOAT on it, because she has been every avenue. Like,
didn't Missy do Maya's My Love Is Like Whoa?
Yep. Like, Missy has been out ever since like 93. And people don't even, you know what I'm saying? Because she did, what little girl? I mean, Raven's joint. What's the video she had? Oh my God.
Oh, Raven Simone?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
What the heck is the song called? It's and they didn't put Missy in the video because obviously she a big girl, but I forgot what the song was called. It raved something about little girls, something. And Missy wrote that record, and she don't get no love for. Oh, That's What Girls Are Made Of, and that was in '93. And so Missy been out here for a minute, and for her to get her credit, 8 years afterwards is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, for her to finally get love, and like you said, Kill, a lot of people felt that way. Everybody was like, how get the fuck out of here. Like, ain't nobody rocking with that. Like, nah. And like you said, a lot of people would have looked over, but Sylvia Rhone, she was like, nah, it's something with her. It's something with her, and she kept her, and it was smart. So,
what were you gonna say?
But one thing I want to say is with regards to Missy, like, I feel like she had the essence of hip hop, because there was a time when, you know, it was about having your own style and originality, right? And I think when Missy came out, though, like, everyone was just focused more on, like, you know, a certain style of lyricism that, you know, a lot of people didn't respect her in that way, right? Or look at her like a novelty. But when you look back at it, like, she just brought something new and different, and, you know, that unique style, it is hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No doubt. What are you gonna say, Matt?
One thing that you mentioned about the videos, like, Missy videos basically laid the blueprint for those Ludacris and Eminem crazy videos. Like, Missy was doing that first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah,
no doubt. Hey, who you got up next?
God damn it. I knew who I had next, and now I'm freaking. Oh yeah, I got Murs, West Coast MC Murs, man, and I think he does not get the props he deserves just for. I feel like he has a really dope catalog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally gravitate to his work with Ninth Wonder. But a lot of his other albums too is dope. Like, he's been out for a while. He was part of this group, The Living Legends. I know Kill got into it with some people on Twitter about that.
Hey, man, these local legends who think they living legends, man. But
Murs was kind of the biggest name that came out of that, and you know what I'm saying. But I think also, like, his storytelling is very, very dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you listen to his albums, like, he's kind of when we were talking about damn it, like, was that Rel mentioned like a Master Ace, right? You know, who you listen to specifically for, like, storytelling. And like, when I listen to a Murs album, like, you know, that's kind of one of the elements is like the storytelling and stuff like that. But, you know, he's still, you know, he got the longevity, man. He's still dropping albums and still dropping dope music. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Rel, JR, who you got?
Hold on. Okay, my last one. Obviously, I got to take it back. I'm gonna say the Impressions. I don't feel like they get the credit they deserve.
Now, is Curtis Mayfield in the Impressions, or the Impressions after Curtis left?
No, the one with Curtis in it. I don't think they get their credit at all, because everybody think it's just Curtis. For real. And I just think when you talk about 60s stuff, they were the first ones to put social issues into their music before anybody did it. And they don't get the love for that. Everybody just goes right to who? Marvin.
Curtis. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they go to Curtis as well, but they go to, to Marvin. Right. And I'm like, no, he was talking about Keep On Pushing, and he was doing We're a Winner, and all of those. And I think when you talk about 60s groups, they're never discussed. Like, I be seeing like these top 10 lists, and I'm like, well, where's the Impressions? Because he didn't leave until 70. So I'm like,
now when did they come out?
61. They came out in 59, but Then Jerry Butler left, and then he left.
God damn. Yeah, I swear JR be going back in time and shit. This nigga said 1959.
Yeah, and then
you say 1959 to one of my kids, they be like, "Did y'all have cars, Mr. Kill? Like, did y'all have houses in 1959?" Like, this nigga said 1959.
Yeah, but then they didn't start to get popular until like 1961 and 62 and all that. But I'm just like, nah, if you're going to talk about 60s groups, they should be discussed, especially with social issues. So I think they're always overlooked because everybody say it's just Curtis. And I'm like, no, you got to think of, you know, Sam Goodman and Fred Cash, them three, and Curtis, all three of them, I feel like deserve their credit. And I went to Kill's house, and I went and he gave me, I got a vinyl that I went shopping at your house, bro.
I do want people to understand that because I say that shit on Twitter and I think people think I'll be fucking playing.
No,
I got so many fucking records. Niggas come over here to record shop. Yes. I got doubles, I got triples, so I
leave with a vinyl every time.
It's no cap. Niggas do come over here to go digging.
And I got
JR, as you see, I pull this one. It's one of my favorite favorite joints. Mm-hmm. What about the other two? Could they really sing, or would they just? Okay,
oh yeah,
man. Okay, you know, because you know, I don't know if Kelly and Michelle 20 years from now, somebody asks you, could Kelly and Michelle really sing?
Oh Lord,
what are you gonna say?
Yeah,
with a laugh.
Even though I'm sorry, look, people go.
He said Mikel. He don't put the two together. That nigga said, I'm not even gonna talk about them respectfully separate. I'm gonna just call them Mikel. I'm gonna just put both names together.
I mean, Michelle got kind of like a little rice cake voice to me. Like it just sounds.
No, I just want you to see because you said it like hell yeah, and I'm like, but bro, let's not act like some of these people in the group can.
Right.
Sing.
I get where you going. I mean? I get where you. Speaking of,
who replaced Curtis when he left with the
what's his name? Lee. Oh Lord. Oh God. Damn it. What is his name?
Well, forget about the name. How did they do after Curtis left? Because I sometimes look at the impressions like Slum Village.
No.
Like, after Dilla left, I felt like Slum was never the same.
Leroy Hudson. That's who came in after them. After Curtis left.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, that's who came in. Okay. And then Curtis produced they shit. So
they were still cool when Curtis left?
Oh yeah, because Curtis really didn't want to leave. His manager pushed that. Because I mean, everybody in their contract get the solo clause. They helped Bobby, so everybody got it. So he went and he was like, "All right, I'll do it," and then he blew. So his manager was like, maybe you need to stay over there. You know what I'm saying? And Curtis was like, all right, cool. But he really didn't want to. He was fine with the group, but he did it, and that was that. But he produced the first album after he left. He produced their first album. I mean, Leroy, he gets down. But speaking of Nazi, you really don't think TLC gets the credit they deserve?
I personally don't, just because, again, now keep in mind, I don't run in R&B circles. So that's why anything with R&B or soul music, I defer to you. Yeah. But I hang with people who we love R&B. We don't love it the way you love R&B. But I'm never in a circle full of people, and people are like, "Yo, TLC on the TLC tip was my shit." You know, Crazy Sexy Cool was my shit. You know, now when Creep comes on, people singing it. When Waterfall comes on, people singing it. When Baby 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 come on, people singing it. When Red Light Spell. But if it's not the hits, they don't, you know, and I don't think everybody puts it all together to say, to me, if you play a Best of TLC mix, I feel it's like, oh shit, they were kind of dope. But I don't feel like you have to do that with SWV. I don't feel like you got to put on, and when we was at Morgan, and I wish Kel was still here, SWV reigned supreme. That freshman year, that first album, SWV, no rap. It wasn't, nobody was talking about no TLC. Nobody, when Crazy Sexy Cool came out with Creep and Red Light Special, it kind of creeped in there, but it still was, I feel like SWV was, I guess maybe this is the Freddie Jackson thing, because I don't think of Waterfalls as a crossover hit, but it sure crossed the fuck over. You know what I mean? Maybe it was the video, I don't know, but I just feel like black folk don't. If you got TLC or SWV, black folk are gonna talk about SWV all day. Probably because they can sing. I mean, you know, they sing. T-Boz ain't the best singer. Chili ain't the best singer. And Left Eye was the best rapper. So again, but I do think that they do deserve some respect. And I think it may just go back to that. It's just not a room. It's not enough room for two groups with 3 girls in it for us to both support both of them. So we all, I mean, at the end of the day, if you ask me, Kill, you picking SWV's first CD or TLC's, I'm picking SWV's. So it's not no hate on TLC though, but I still respect them for what they did. And it's probably coming off, like I said, I just watched that special with them. And when they were talking about all the awards and all the albums, I'm like 60 million fucking albums.
They top dog. Yeah, they top dog.
Like, I had no idea. Hey, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think it's similar to when Kev was talking about Salt and Pepper. Unfortunately, over time you get remembered mostly from your because of your biggest single, right? Like or the one that resonates, like Waterfall, right? And with Salt and Pepper is What a Man. And it becomes a situation where some people act like that's the only record, right? They forget about everything else. That was the big record, and it's like Salt and Pepper is What a Man. But I'm like, damn, what about Tramp and you know, songs like that? So I think sometimes when you look back, certain groups, you know, they almost look at them as if they like one-hit wonders, even though they had multiple hits. So maybe that's what it is in a lot of ways.
And that's true too, because if you keep with Salt and Pepper, they kind of moved from what I checked out by the time we was at Shoot. You know, probably after that 3rd album, I checked out as a Salt and Pepper fan because I was like, to me, they're no longer making music for me. You know what I mean? So that the new generation that picked up on them from Shoot, they probably know nothing about Tramp. They probably know nothing about Chick on the Side. They just know Shoot and What a Man and even Let's Talk About Sex, but they're not gonna know about Beauty and the Beat off the Color soundtrack or Let the Rhythm Run, and I think that was the one off the Color soundtrack. They're not gonna know nothing about that, you know. So it's almost like Salt and Pepper had to reinvent themselves to stay relevant. Because if they kept making music for me, Salt and Pepper probably would have got lost in the sauce, you know. But because they were like, hey, let's go over this kind of like this side of the street. Like, I mean, What a Man was a smash. I mean, that was everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's a great point too, Vague. That, like you said, maybe that's all TLC is meant for. Yo, when TLC first came out, it was like, yo, who is these chicks? Oh, this chick wearing, they got condoms. Yo, this chick is cute. Chili's cute. Like, yo, they cute. Then it comes out with the What About Your Friends? Then they come out with the Hat to the Back remix video, wearing a Carhartt. It was like, yo, these joints is crazy. But then, I don't know what happened. Even when Creep came out, I mean, Phife was on the album, like, even Crazy Sexy Cool. So I don't know. So, but to answer your question, I just don't think they get the props they deserve because I don't hear anybody like from the hood ever say a mumbling word about TLC. And it may just be hood niggas.
And yeah, that's the way you go that way, because I really feel like it's switched. I don't feel like, I think SWV is just now getting they just due. I don't think they ever did. Like, it bothers me because it's like, yo, like you saying, like, we all on here was like, it's about time was the shit. Like, it was. Like,
freshman year at Morgan, you could not walk across campus and not hear that album playing somewhere, somehow, whatsoever. When the Human Nature joint came out, that was everywhere. So I think that's the thing. I'm talking about niggas. You're probably talking about the charts and shit like that. Because I feel like SWV, you come out to a barbecue, I throw on my best SWV mix. That shit could just stay on rotation the whole barbecue, and nobody's gonna have a problem with it. But let me throw on motherfucking what was TLC's first single?
Ain't Too Proud to Beg.
Ain't nobody. Kill, get that shit off the radio. Nigga, who got the aux cord? This nigga over here playing TLC. Goddamn it, that's some nigga barbecue. Niggas don't want to hear that shit.
It was like, because it was like I was having a discussion with a couple of people a couple of months ago, and we had the same thing about TLC and SWV, and a lot of them was calling for TLC more than SWV, and they were black. It was us. And I was sitting there like, really? Like, for real?
Always keep in mind there are blacks and then there are niggas. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying that I'm talking about niggas from the hood. I'm talking about niggas who probably sold drugs, may have an uncle in jail, shit like that. That's the people I'm talking for. You may be around more educated blacks that, you know, went to private school and did shit like that. I'm only talking for niggas who have probably stood on a corner from time to time and done some extracurricular activities.
Right.
Those people at the barbecue are not wanting to hear no goddamn Hat to the Back remix. They don't want to hear about What About Your Friends. Do they want to hear the Human Nature remix, the Right Here? Yeah, they'll drink a Heineken to that all day, but they don't want to hear no TLC shit.
But to that point, and I think JR might agree with me, is it's only that first album for SWV that gets that type of respect, because the second album, like, is very dope album, but that wouldn't get played in those types of scenarios that you're talking about, Kill. Not that second album.
O'Brien. That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that either. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think,
and that's why I think SWV is underrated, because they have more than just that first album.
Yeah, true indeed. True indeed. All right, bro, what you got up next, bro?
This might be a little controversial, I guess. Some might not agree, but I'm gonna say Scarface.
I agree with that.
I picked Scarface because he gets love, but I think if you really look at his career and accomplishments, he needs to be up there with, like, I don't like doing this, but, like, you know, he need to be up there with, like, Pop, like, to me. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. Some might not agree, but this is my opinion. I think so. Like, he should be talked about in those circles, and he doesn't get talked about in those circles enough for me. You know what I'm saying? He gets love and respect, but he's like iconic, bro. Like, look at his career, bro, and the time from when he started. He had group success to solo success to success with artists, East Coast artists everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He got songs with Jay-Z, Nas, along with artists from his demographic. You know what I'm saying? He's like legendary, and I don't think he gets the respect at the level I feel he should. I think he gets respect, but not like he should get like top 5 respect to me. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I think possibly it could be a regional thing. I know for me, with Face, I honestly was never a big Face fan. You know what I mean? Respect him to death. Respect what he's done. Respect how other people, like you, Vague, and other hip hop heads I know respect him. But I think it may be because I can't name you a Face song. Like, y'all know I'm not the biggest Pac fan, but I can sit here and name you 20 Pac songs off the top of my head that I feel like if you're not a Scarface fan, that's not going to get to you. Whereas with Pac's music, you don't have to be a Pac fan to be able to name 20 Pac songs. You know, so I don't know if that's the record label, the way they push them, or things like that. But I think that that's the problem. That's like, as somebody who's not a Scarface fan, that to me is what it was. It was regional. I heard the first Scarface album. I thought it was cool, but it wasn't really nothing that I loved. You know what I mean? Hearing him like I was just listening to Guess Who's Back today, and I was like, God damn, this shit is crazy. You know what I mean? So I feel like I need to go tap back in the Face, but I think that may be what it is for some people. I'm only speaking for me, but that's the thing where it's like I said with a Pac, and I'm only using Pac because you said he should be on the same level as a Pac, is that, like I said, you don't have to be a Pac fan to be able to name Pac songs. I feel like I could, if you sat here right now and said, Kill, name me 3 Scarface songs, and we'll pay for Nate's whole undergrad, I would hope he got a song called Mr. Scarface. Guess Who's Back? And I'd be really hoping to name that other song that Kanye did on that fucking album, The Fix. But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like that's the problem. So if you're not a Scarface fan, you don't get to hear Face's music like that. You know, and I don't know if that's a label. I know he's on Rap a lot. I don't know if he ever got on a major. I don't know why that is, but the way I hear people talk about Face, I respect it. Like, yo, like, this dude must be dope, because I hear so many great people who I respect talk about him at such a high points, to the point that if somebody told me Scarface was in their top 5, you got no argument from me. But that's based off of people like you in Vegas and people who I respect their pedigree. And if you all say he's that great, then I'm going to trust in you all and believe then he is that dope. So like I said, I would never beef with nobody when they say, I've met people who say, yo, Scarface top 10 greatest rappers of all time. And I'm like, cool, I ain't gonna argue with you, you know? So, but Veg, I don't know what you feel, or Eddie would like, you know, but it's hard because y'all are Face fans. So I think it's coming from me not being a Face fan to kind of maybe talk about why he's doesn't get the love and the admiration that he deserves.
Yeah, I could see that being possible, because just hearing you talk about that and thinking about Scarface's catalog, that first album is more aggressive. It's more Ghetto Boys than what we know the Scarface to be. Whereas by the time he gets to, you know, Seeing a Man Die or and joints like that, it's a different Scarface. His lyrics are more thoughtful and
more introspective.
And yeah, more introspective. It's more like poetry than anything. And then it kind of becomes an acquired taste for some people, you know, at that point, because everything isn't like a hard hitting song. And, you know, we talking about him going through the eras
right.
with music sounding like that. But yeah, I could see that Scarface in a lot of ways is because he's just a great writer, you know, of music. Like his verses, he doesn't waste space in his rhymes. You know, you would like if you're an MC, especially if you have a recording contract, you would want to be that kind of an artist, because there's longevity in that kind of writing. You know what I mean? Like you can write songs. Even his verse on Dynasty, you know, This Can't Be Life. Like, you know, I saw an interview with Beanie Siegel on Art of Dialogue, talking about, yo, he got a call at the session. Then he wrote that verse about, you know, I just got a call from a man said, little baby boy died. And that verse is hot, but that's what Scarface is. He's more like taking the reality and bringing it into the song and conveying the emotion behind it. And you know, hip hop sometimes, you know, some people just don't have the patience for stuff like that. But his type of rap is like up my alley as far as music goes.
And I will say, I mean, his Tiny Desk concert was bananas. So it's one of those joints where it's like, damn, I need to tap back in and kind of hear this. And again, y'all know I'll be the first to admit, man, I closed my ears to a lot of it. The beat wasn't what I wanted to hear, and I kind of tuned you out. And that's why I have to go back and catch up to a lot of hip hop, because again, I've never said if something doesn't sound right to me. Hell, I saw Amigos fucking I guess it was a Tiny Desk. It wasn't in no desk. It was like maybe this was during COVID or something. It was in a house or a basement or something. And I was like, yo, these songs ain't half bad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really mad at some of this shit. Like, they had joined over the Papa Was a Rolling Stone shit. I was like, yo, this shit kind of bang. Like, and I had to go dig into the album just because the only thing I knew was Bad and Bougie. And I'm like, that shit's whack. I don't want to hear that. But so again, everybody who's watching this, y'all know, I always say I got holes in my hip hop game, especially once you start getting down south and Texas and shit like that. It's not a bias, you know, but that's what it is. So I think, well, that may be what it is. What are you gonna say?
I think in my recommendation, I think The Fix would be the album that would appeal to you the most first.
And that's the one with Guess Who's Back, right?
And that's the one with In Between Us with Nas on there, On My Block. Right. Like,
My Block,
just the production and the way that album, the song with Faith is really, really good. I think that one would be, that one would be the most easiest one for you as not being a Faith fan to like start with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right. But what is your favorite?
My Untouchable.
All right, and what's yours, Vay?
Mr. Scarface is back, man. I love the violence, nigga. They got gunfights. Cover that, motherfucker.
Right. All right. Cool. All right, I'm gonna tap out with the rest that I got left up. I got Malice from the Clips. I think it's the 3000 Syndrome. Pusha is just had the solo albums, but people, man, Malice got some shit, man. That's all I could say, man. You go back and listen to Lord Wild and Hell Hath No Fury. Some of those, We Got It For Cheap mixtapes. Malice goes in, and I feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. R&B wise, Jasmine Sullivan, Pen is Sick. She sings her ass off. Just won a Grammy for an album that barely got any promotion. Das Effects, man. I feel like it's this one-hit wonder thing put on them, but they invented their whole new style. The old fashioned with fatigues. They was rocking fatigues before Boot Camp was, the dreads. They had 3 solid albums. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like Straight Up Suicide when it was No Diggity, but to me, they had bars on that. Joe Budden, the MC, not the podcaster, the MC. This dude never ducked any wreck. He battled anybody from Prodigy to Drake and probably about 50 other rappers in between. Really was one of the first people to really rock hard on social media. Like, this dude's social media game was so strong, and his Joe Budden TV, this nigga had his girlfriend Tahiri at the time on the cover of King. And every video vixen in the industry was trying to get the cover of King. This nigga just got his girlfriend, some random shorty, on the cover of King because of his Joe Budden TV. Classic mixtape series with Mood Music. Like, that mixtape series to me was crazy. Rage in the Machine in 2016 with A-Rap Music, Padded Room in 09. I just think Joe is dope. JR, we talked about it earlier, Kindred, The Family of Soul. That whole duet vibe of wife and husband, like Ashford and Simpson. Again, 3 solid albums, touched on real life issues, touched on marriage. I mean, Surrender to Love dropped in 2003. Auntie and Uncle dropped in 2021. That's a nice run. MOP, they got the anthem with Annie Up. They got the longevity. And then more importantly, don't nobody ever fuck with them. Nobody has ever fucking started a beef. These niggas left fucking Rock. They left fucking G Unit. They left multiple places where everybody else called beef except MOP. From Till the Death in 94 to Sparta in 2011. Crazy, Rod Digger, to me one of the dopest female MCs, part one of the illest rhyming crews with the Outsiders. And on top of that, she may have been the dopest MC in the Outsiders right there. And then last but definitely not least, I got Raphael Sadiq. I mean, this dude came out with Tony in 88. I'm in 8th grade. I just turned 50, okay? And this nigga's still making bangers. That's 14 to 50. If that ain't longevity, I don't know what to tell you. The revival with It Never Rains. I mean, me and JR went to the show. You talk about timeless music. It Never Rains. Whatever You Want. Anniversary. Like Slow Wine. I mean, just me and you off the Boys and Hood soundtrack. You talk about timeless music. House of Music.
Like,
yeah, the House of Music. Dog, I got fibromyalgia and scoliosis. I ain't sit down that whole fucking show. You would have thought I was on stage. You would have thought I was on stage. I was like, you know, I mean, I was wilding out there in that show. Then not to talk about his solo career with Instant Vintage, Ray Ray, The Way I See It, Stone Rollin', Jimmy Lee, Lucy Pearl album. He's produced for Mary, Josh Stone, Beyonce, Solange, Erica, Angie Stone, Total, Anthony Hamilton, and D'Angelo. To me, you just say fucking Untitled and Lady, and I can just drop the mic right there and walk away. Just with that alone. So yeah, Raphael Sadiq. Vague, you got anybody else left, bro?
Yeah, I have 2. One is Curtis Blow, man. I feel like Curtis Blow is talking about before 88. He's talking about like superstar superstar status as far as being a soloist, a showman. I remember, like, as much as we feel like the standout in Crush Groove was LL. Yo, when Curtis Blow came out with the top hat and the chicks, I was just like, this, yo, he's the man. Like, this dude he's the best. Especially at a time where, and Kill talks about this all the time, where, you know, it wasn't really about albums. If you had some hot singles that dropped, that was the equivalent of, you could eat off a single for years at that point. Also, what did I have? Yeah, and the next one was Havoc as a producer. I feel like when we're talking about some of the greatest producers of all time, people think about Havoc and Mobb Deep only, but it's not that. This man is produced for Big, Eminem, Nas, 50, Raekwon, 112, Method Man, Mariah, Diddy, LL, Big Noi, Lil Kim, Conan Noriega, Foxy, and at some point he was better than Prodigy on the Mobb Deep joints, and he has one of the most slept on albums with Alchemist.
Bro, I just pulled it out. The Silent Partner.
Yeah. Like, what else does Havoc have to do, you know, to be recognized in that regard? So,
and to me, it's what. Oh, what you gonna say, babe? No, you got.
Like you know, we got our favorites, right, as far as beats that he's produced, man. But the build to Godfather Part 3, like once you get past all the gun noises and shit. But man, you want to talk about like Annie Up, make you want to commit some violence. Like Godfather Part 3, I'll be looking like, yo, let's just snuff the mix. Like,
you are not lying. You are not lying, bro.
Right.
Not lying,
man.
Right.
Man.
And I think too, the thing with this joint is Hab did something a lot of people in groups don't do. He put out a solo project. You know what I mean? And Nick is one of the people who kind of got in my ear for him. And I kind of took it from him. He was like, yo, you can't get in my top 10 if you don't have a solo project. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not mad at that, you know, because it's a big ass difference between writing 3 16s and just having to write 1 16 and then maybe 1 8, you know. So I think Havoc doing this, which is very, very dope, kind of really solidified him even more. So like you said, what else does he have to do after this? To me, he doesn't have to do anything else. You know what I mean? Because like you said, at this point in time, when we did this on another episode, once you check the boxes, you check the boxes. And then whether I like you or not, that goes out the window. It's just, do you check these boxes? And to me, Hab checks all the boxes. Like you said, it's not like he only produced for Mobb Deep and that was it. You know, he produced for everybody you named and probably then some more. So I agree with you 100%, man. Yeah. Eddie, you got anybody else left?
Yeah, man. Killer Mike, yo. Like, Killer Mike, like, he dropped Michael. Like, it got all the recognition. Everyone thought, like, he was just, yo, where this guy come from? Man, he came up from out Outkast and the Dungeon Fam. Like, that verse on the whole world was freaking crazy, yo. Like, then, you know, he has solo joints, linked up with LP on that rap music album, and then did the Run the Jewel stuff, you know, which was crazy, man. That's quite a run. And obviously finally got his due recognition with this latest album. But yeah, man, he definitely deserved more. I also say Tretch, you know, don't get the respect, man, for as Kill would say, you know, at one point was the dopest MC walking the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? I think with Naughty by Nature, them just having anthems, I think it was just lost how crazy of an MC he was, man. Like, just with the bars. Like, I feel like he did not sacrifice his integrity on them joints. You know what I'm saying? He still came lyrical. And if I'm talking about Tretch, you know what I'm saying, got to talk about Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? Her and the whole Flavor Unit thing, like her as an MC, but also her as, you know, transitioning, like being a manager and like all the artists that came up under her, you know what I'm saying? And also props for her, you know, transitioning into TV, like being one of the first ones to do that and having a hit show and kind of paving the way for other artists to do that as well.
Yeah. It's dope. I think the thing with Live kind of touches on a little what Vague was talking about with Salt-N-Pepa. I feel like when you move through the decades, like people start looking at you like, oh, Latifah, the actress, like, you know. And to me, when people start looking at you like that, they don't even know about, you know, Rap for My Madness or Dance for Me, you know, any songs like that. It's just like, you know, we just know her from the fucking Equalizer and, you know, these in Chicago and movies like that. So again, The Gift and Curse, you know, it's great. You're making this Hollywood money. The curse is nobody even remembers you as an MC anymore, you know. JR, you got anybody left, bro?
Nah, I'm out.
All right, bro. What about you?
Yeah, I got 3 left. Real quick.
All right.
Yeah, I got Chuck D as a lyricist, as a artist, like not just Public Enemy, but like I just feel like he just get overlooked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he just was taught, like put on Black Steel and An Hour of Chaos and just listen to that, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like he don't get the credit he deserves, man. As a rapper, as an MC, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, let me tell you this. There was this dude on my timeline, and he was like, man, fuck Chuck D. Because we were saying something about that Chuck D episode, and it was like, yo, man, fuck Chuck D. I'll diss that nigga. Like, he was some battle rapper. He was like, I'll diss... Y'all, I'm shocked y'all didn't see this one. This is a couple of years ago. He was like, I'll diss that motherfucker right now. You know, and everybody went on him. And it's funny, because since he was a battle rapper, somebody found a battle of him where he was battling this dude, and the dude literally pulled out a family picture of this dude. Like, nigga, is this you right here sitting next to your mother? Like, these battle rappers right now go for the jugular. Like, these niggas go, whoever they use, the cops need to go get them to go work for fucking them, because these niggas will find every piece of dirt you ever did. And yo, it just shut him up. But the fact that, like, this nigga was so ignorant to be like, yo, I diss that motherfucker right now. I'm like, bro, like, that's almost like saying to somebody in 1965, that nigga Malcolm, fuck that nigga. I'll punch him right now. Like, that's literally the equivalent of like what you saying, my nigga. And then you not even nice. Like, when niggas found video of him rhyming, it's like, you got, like, dog. Like, so I wholeheartedly agree with you. And a lot of people don't give Chuck's pen the credit that it deserves.
Yeah. And then my last two, I got Currency. Again, you know, he found his niche, and he did his thing for a long time. Put out quality music. Put out a lot of music. And another one is Mixtape Wiz Khalifa. And I don't know, Mixtape Wiz Khalifa was crazy. Like that it was a time where it was like Cushion OJ and all that. That was like everywhere. Like, and it influenced a lot of people in the way they put out music and the style and mixtapes and all that. Like, these were like mixtapes that were like albums, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a lot of like other people's. These were like full album like mixtapes that were crazy. And I think he gets looked at differently because of his hit songs, you know what I'm saying, that he had years ago. But he had some shit back then.
Question. So would you say, Veg, we were talking about Mixtape Big Crit. Is this a similar situation? Because you put mixtape, I'm assuming that the album Wiz Khalifa is different. The same way I had to say like Joe Budden at MC. So what do you think happened between Mixtape Wiz Khalifa and what label did he get signed to? And what's the difference between the two?
I know. All right, so he had so Deal or No Deal was an actual album, but that was when he was first coming out. Like, he was, and they had like This Plane and all that. Cushion OJ is the one that everybody that during that time was like the classic. When he put his album, he put out like Rolling Papers was his album. It wasn't as good. Like, it was different, you know what I'm saying? And then Taylor Alderdice was the next mixtape, and that was fire again. It was just like his mixtapes were better, kind of like Fab a little bit. Like, his mixtapes was just way better than his album, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's the direction, like maybe the label, or you're trying to go in to sell records, but it was so different. Even when he would put out a mixtape after he had put out that album, it would go back to the former. It would be fire, you know what I'm saying? And I just think it was like two different artists, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro, question: what was the Pilot Talk series? Was that mixtapes or was those albums?
Pilot Talk, that's Currency. Those were.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different artist. My bad.
Yeah.
No,
but those were albums, right?
Pilot Talks, were those
That's
albums?
Currency. That's my bad.
I thought they were albums because I actually had the physical copies because Ski was doing them.
I got all three because Ski. Yeah, go ahead. Vague, my fault.
I think originally they were, and then they released them like
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before, I remember they were like only on Dat Piff and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know why. Like my brain associates Currency and Wiz Khalifa together.
Well, they work a lot together.
It's a lot of weed. It's a lot of
They
weed.
They work together a lot. You know what I'm saying? They have mixtapes together, so it's natural to kind of get them to
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. JR, where can they get at you, bro?
R&B Reps on Instagram, JR R&B Rep on Twitter, R&B Reps on Twitter as well. The latest episode is going to be with Kev. He came on and talked about Tavares. Never loved like this before. He talked about that. And then we had somebody else that came on and talked about Levert, Baby, I'm Ready. So that's a dope episode. So that's the new things on R&B Reps. We got a couple of interviews coming up too. So just beware, just follow all the pages.
Damn, speaking of Levert, Gerald don't get the respect he deserves, man.
And I just thought about it when I said it. I said,
Yeah, as soon as you said Levert, I was like, Baby, I'm Ready. I'm like, whew, that was my shit. Like,
yeah, he don't get
and he don't get respect. Gerald kept a sharp ass shape up and a sharp ass beard. That nigga's shape up was always next fucking level.
You were gonna go that way.
Now, I'm just saying, you know the barber in me. Same thing with Jimmy Jackson from Ohio State and fucking Jim Jackson.
That's a good one.
Shape up.
That's a good one. That's a good pull. Yeah.
Wow, what you working on, bro?
Yeah. So working on the album. I got some more songs to send y'all. I'm about to be almost done. And we gonna come to the crib, come back over your crib, and we gonna figure it out. But I'm getting there. I got some more stuff to send y'all. Again, it's called "It's Not You, It's Me," and it's totally different from the last album. I got my man Vegas on there. You know what I mean? Got a couple other features, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. Coming this summer. All
right, Eddie, what you got cooking up, bro?
Yo, man, just enjoying this playoff run, man. That's shit, man. Like, if I'm not on hip hop Twitter, I'm on Knicks Twitter, man. And yo, I'm glad if y'all saw it, man. Like Josh Hart going up to Reggie Miller saying, "Hey, they said fuck you."
I saw it.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
One thing, I mean, yeah. All right, Meg, what's going on with you, man? Because I want to like congratulate y'all, but then I don't because y'all beat us, so that shit ain't gonna happen. I'm like torn, and then I'm torn because 3 of y'all niggas play for Villanova, which is my squad, but I can't. So yeah, it's just. It's a whole bunch of just mixed
bad.
emotions.
It's bad.
But y'all not hating like Charles Barkley anyway.
Oh no, I'm not hating at all. Here's the thing. You could look at the receipts. I've always said the NBA is better when the Knicks.
You always said that. Oh yeah, you
always said that. That the NBA is a better product when the Knicks and Madison Square Garden is on fire. So I've always said that.
Hold on. I can't hate on y'all because y'all be just cheering for y'all team. Y'all been through a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve all this shit.
Y'all talking about the bandwagons.
There's been some other people that been like hitting me up, getting my inbox, yo, and I'm like, yo, they like wild disrespectful, bro. Like,
and I gotta say, like,
City is our little brother, and we gonna do this. I'm like, yo, like,
did y'all see that one of the guys was at the Philly game, and did y'all see that clip? Where dude popped the dude right in the face.
Well, no, I ain't see that. I saw some Knicks fans enjoying it, and then a white boy just came up and pushed them and got in the middle of them. I ain't seen nobody get snuffed.
I got snuffed in the
It's the thing, bro.
Bullies, and he popped them right in the face, yo.
I told y'all motherfuckers, y'all better chill.
This ain't basketball, yo. Don't come at me like that, yo. I was like, yo, and you got punched in the. I was like, come on, yo. Like,
here's the thing, though. Like, there's this like viral YouTuber like Side Talk. He's the one who started all these like Knicks fans acting crazy for the camera. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of these fans that are put out there to represent all Knicks fans, like they don't represent all, like they doing it for the camera. And when they bring that energy to like the arenas, it's only a matter of time before they get smacked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then at the end of the day, like my man said, half these motherfuckers can't afford the Garden. So they gotta come down the motherfucking turnpike to even go to a fucking Knicks game. Some of these motherfuckers is going to their first Knicks game in their fucking life. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing. But again, keep doing well. You know, I do not want to see Boston win a chip. So knock yourselves out, man.
The Boston lost. I think they lost.
They got smacked too. They got smacked.
Oh, they got smacked.
They got smacked. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Jason Tatum soft. I keep saying that, yo. Jason Tatum soft.
Yeah. Vay, what you got cooking up, bro?
All right, you can follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. Check out my weekly podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast. Recently, I did a video with the homie Tony of IntoTheDome.com for the podcast That Time in Hip Hop, recapping the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake battle, going through the timeline.
Wait, it's out?
Yeah, it's out today.
Oh, all right.
I'm saying
you know, going through
that's what I've been waiting.
Everything, how we feel, where the battle is placed in hip hop history, everything, all that good stuff. And I'm gonna pose a question to y'all that because we started adding a question to the end instead of an album recommendation. Which album do you think is going to be better, Nas and Primo or Common and Pete Rock?
Oh, Common and Pete Rock. I don't even think about that. That's like when I ask my teens, hey, would y'all rather have 10 best friends that'll be with you throughout your whole life or 10,000 Instagram followers? They be like 10,000 Instagram followers. Fuck these.
Let me ask you a question. What makes you so sure? Is it Pete Rock and Primo, or is it the?
It's Preem. It's Preem. Like even the song that they dropped. I mean, it's blah at best. Like, you know, maybe like if we didn't get this King Disease run, this 6 run, that beat wouldn't have even made any of those albums, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like if that beat was not Primo, to me this is just nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like that's not a great Primo beat. Like it's just not, y'all. Like if you like it, that's cool, but we can't sit here and act like this is. Primo has not had a certified banger to me in years, and I'm talking maybe 10. You know, the Prime shit, that's Adrian Young. Fucking my Yorkie could sample Adrian Young and not fuck that shit up. Like it's literally Adrian Young, which is why I told niggas watch for Prime too. Because and I think they sampled some boy out of Philly, Ant-Man Wonder or something like that, and the album wasn't as good. So again, I think it's Preem. I just think Pete still has, for me as a producer, Pete is still making some serious shit. So I mean, and even Nas doesn't. I mean, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think y'all have heard Nas on King's Disease 3? I feel like Nas is just in his fucking bag. I feel like Nas is like, yo, I'm hyped to write Michael and Quincy, like just the shit he's on. I don't even get that same vibe from that Primo song. It felt like, I gotta do this shit. Like, it didn't feel like I'm focused, I'm here, I wanna, you know, what that nigga say, like, what I at the Knicks game, I don't sit the floor, not trying to sit from across the board, I hit before, lead the fourth early, hit the liquor store. I'm like, yo, this nigga is going. And then I hear him with Nas, I mean, with Primo, it's like, that, I don't get any of that energy from that song. Do y'all, I mean, Vague, you know, not like, do you get that energy from this? Like, this is supposed to be this whole monumental hip hop album we've been waiting 30 fucking years from, and it sounds like Nas is like calling in that verse. Like, all right, let me get this shit. Was it even 2 verses? Like, I feel like it's just like, let me just say some shit because niggas want me to say some shit.
Yeah, well, for the record, I picked Pete Rock and Common for the same reason. I feel like Pete Rock as a producer is just way more still in the pocket than Premier is. I think Nas is. I just think Pete is just what we come to expect from a new Primo beat. And then also the other thing that I was telling Tone, you know, I feel like it was an announcement song and not a song.
Right.
Like, it was more so like Nas and Primo, we back, a little bit of that flavor, y'all know, album coming soon. So I wasn't as encouraged as most, but I felt like Nas, what he was putting together as far as lyrics, I was like, nah, if you could do that, you know, over some better beats. Because I said before, like, the beat that Primo did for Benny and his crew, I always forget the name of the song. That beat was hot.
Okay.
But, you know, it's kind of like Tupac would hit him up. Once the mother niggas start rapping with the get away, yo, you like, nah, just turn that shit off. I just want to hear Benny. I don't want to hear y'all. Even though I like the Heen Cat, but yeah, turn it off after Benny. But that beat was hot. Okay. This is typical Premier.
Eddie, what about you?
I think also the Pete Rock and Common album. I think because I still think Nas is the better MC. I think he might still be the better MC on this Premier album. However, like, I think that Pete Rock is going to have the better production, and I feel like Pete Rock is his quality control, right? He's going to get the best out of Common. And I think you've heard stories of him, like even hearing from Amir, like, you know, how the process is. Like, I feel like Pete Rock is going to get the best out of Common. He's going to get what he wants out of him for the beats. And I think with, you know, Primo, I'm not sure. And I think with, you know, Nas, I'm not sure if he's also going to demand the best out of Premier, you know? Like, nah, I don't like that, you know, give me something else. I'm not sure if he's going to do that. So
I'm on the fence, because what have I heard from Common recently that I liked? You know what I'm saying? So, like, while we're talking about the production, on the MC side, I mean, what I heard from him and Pete so far is fire. You know what I'm saying? But what have I heard, like, up until that, Common hasn't given me anything that I want to hear, and Nas has. So I'm kind of torn. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to both of them.
Yeah, and I think it'll go either way, because if we looking at it, if you judge it from, okay, you got the Pete and Com song and you got a Preem song, you could look at it from that standpoint. I see your standpoint, like Nas has been killing it lyrically for the last 3 years. You know what I mean? So I think the determining factor for me is the production. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, the way Nas sounded on that Preem joint, like one time back in the day, my mom was like, yo, one of her homegirls had a daughter and I wasn't fucking feeling her. And she was like, why don't you just go out with her? And I was like, fine, fuck it, I'll go out with her. Like, I feel like that's what this is with Nas. I feel like it's like hip hop has been pulling at Nas, because Nas has not lost Primo's number since 1993. I promise y'all he has. He called that nigga for some scratches on Magic, so he has the number. So again, if you've had a shorty's number since 1993 and you ain't called her ass to hang out or to fuck, guess what? You don't want to fuck with her. You don't. Babe?
You know what else makes me believe is Pete Rock and Common? You look at the behind the scenes video, Nas is like, new album, you know, and Primo like, oh yeah, he like, you with you. Primo not even locked in. Like, he's not even locked in. Nas is excited. He like, nigga, with you.
Yo, so that reminded me, I think Kel told me about that. He was like, somebody, like, they was talking about new Black Star album. So it was like, oh, word? Like, most of like, yo, new Black Star. He's like, oh shit, for real? Like, I had no idea. So again, like I said, dog, at the end of the day, you had a shorty number from 93. If you was trying to fuck with her, you calling her the next day. You ain't letting fucking 30 years go by, making 6 albums with another nigga who wasn't even relevant, fucking wasn't even around back then. I just feel like it's almost like, yo, hip hop wants this. Like, Preem, fuck it. Like, I feel like it's a fuck it. And we all have been in that fuck it scenario. Whether it's like, I don't feel like going to the club. Niggas, come on, man, go. Fuck it. Okay, I'll go. You know what I mean? Like,
but also,
like going out, like, fuck it, I'll go. We have all had those fucking moments. And I just feel like Nas is like, fuck it. Like, I mean, I remember with the Life is Good album, he's like, well, Preem didn't make it because me and all the producers, they were all divorced and I was going through a divorce. So, you know, we was vibing. I'm like, God damn, now niggas got to have the same marital status to make the album. Like, nigga, you just making up excuses at this time. Like Primo ain't make the album because he ain't divorced. Like, god damn. And like I told people, when you call a nigga, here's the thing: niggas have only been calling Primo for scratches for the past 5 years. That tells you something right there. Because again, if you used to being the chef, if your aunt Cece is the one always cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and in the past 5 years you just be like, Cece, just bring the dessert, just bring the ice cream, Dave. Don't worry about cooking. We got this. Nigga, that's a hint and a half that don't nobody want your cooking. Yeah. So it just is. Nobody forgot Alchemist number. Anybody forgot Alchemist number? This nigga drop an album every fucking week. I didn't even know he just dropped another Gangrene album. So ain't nobody forgot Alchemist number. But niggas don't forgot Preem's number. What you gonna say, Eddie?
And that Hip Hop 50 joint came and left. Like, nobody cared about that. It was just like, so flat.
And again, this is what I was talking about with Ski. That would have been a perfect. I really was like, oh shit, like Preem, Little Soul Survivor Project, 5 songs. Like, okay, this is a great opportunity for him to say, y'all, look, I still got it. And Eddie, like you said, that shit came and went the same day. I didn't even hear niggas talk about that the next day. Like, normally you at least get fucking 72 hours on Twitter. That didn't even get 8 hours. And it was already gone. And that song that he did with Nas on there, again, that would have been left on the cutting room floor if that was with King's Disease. So again, and people, nobody out there think that I'm dissing Preem. I'm just like, these are the facts. This ain't even opinionated. These are just the fucking facts. You know what I mean? So yeah. Y'all already know this. Kill 889. Before I go, we got these joints. This is Ev's new album on vinyl. It's going along with the Prophet piece that we're doing. Track number 3, produced by yours truly. Went out to LA to work with Ev on this last year. So it's so dope to see that it's done and also on vinyl. Nice EP, 5-song EP. Vague, it was crazy because he's like, yo, let me play you the album. And it starts off with me talking. I hate my voice. And then on me, then Vague hit me like, yo, Kill, yo, send me, we gotta have you intro the album. I'm like, I hate my fucking voice. Like, I hate this shit, but that's that. Real quick before I go, I want to ask y'all a question. Here's a scenario. This really happened, and I'm trying to figure out, is this racism or not? The situation was, I got into some trouble with the court, some shit with speeding tickets and some wild shit. And they was like, you can either take this ticket or do community service. I was like, fuck it, give me community service. They like, where you want to do that? I said, yo, I love dogs. Give me the ASPCA. I'll fuck with the dogs. Of course, they didn't have me fucking with the dogs. I was in the back doing bullshit, like secretarial work. And one of the women, T, was supposed to be bringing me lunch. So one of the white women who worked there came back to me and said, hey, sir, there's somebody up front to see you. So I'm thinking it's T. So I go up there and there's nobody up there. It's a black guy who's up there. So I'm like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? He was like, I don't fucking know. I came in to adopt a dog, and now here to fuck you. I think you're going to take me to go adopt a dog. And so basically this white woman just thought because he was black and walked in that he had to be my friend. And she came back to get me to say, okay, you two black guy, you must be here for the other black guy. Is that racism? I've been having this discussion. I'm trying to figure out, what is this? It's a word. But is it racism? Is it stereotype? Like, what is that right there?
Yeah, it's racism.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just asking. Some people say, nah, that ain't racism. You know, ain't nobody call you a nigga. Ain't nobody, you know what I mean?
Going
to get you was enough.
Right. Just because he's black, he had to be good for you.
Right.
Yes.
Right. She said
it's a not so subtle microaggression. I mean, I don't even know if you could call it microaggression. That's like a macroaggression right there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because me and Boy both sitting there like, God damn, they just literally thought, you black, I'm black, we gotta be friends. So, all right, so it's racist. All right, everybody, stop being racist out there. Just because 2 black people in the same room don't mean we fucking friends and we know each other. So, you know, keep it there. All right, y'all, I'll check y'all next week, man.
Peace.
Peace.